Kyle Gould before Indiana Wesleyan. Back here on the Marion General Hospital pregame show. Time to catch up with the head baseball coach here at Taylor University, Kyle Gould, before the first game of their three-game series with cross-county rival Indiana Wesleyan today. First of all, happy Good Friday.
Thanks, Rick.
Doubleheader sweep for you and the guys up at Bethel on Tuesday. A tight one there in Game 1, and the offense got rolling in Game 2. What were you most happy about with the performances on Tuesday?
Well, I mean, you're always happy to get 2 wins, especially to go up on the road and do that. But, in the first game, I thought, Mitch came in and just was really, really good at the end. Clay gave us a good start, and then Mitch just closed the door on him, which was good. Didn't get a lot of hits, but I'll tell you, Bethel really played well defensively. We got a lot of balls and play hard. It seemed like when we hit balls hard, they made really good plays. When we hit it soft, they kind of kicked it around. And then Game 2 was just good to see us open up a little bit on the offensive side.
Nathan Taggart now 10 hits away from breaking the all-time hits mark. What's it been like to see him not only come back from injury, but start to really kind of get his timing and his power back here the last couple weeks?
Well, he had a great series here last weekend with Marion, and kind of looked like the old Nathan. And just with what he's dealing with, it's going to be like day to day, and it may be really good one day, and then it may really not be the next day. But I really respect. I think it's hard. Nathan's the best hitter in our league, and then you come all the way back from this knowing you won't be yourself. And I think for guys who are that good to risk playing and not being themselves, I think it shows a lot about Nathan.
Temperature today in the low 40s. We're back to, like you were talking about before we started, it's raining, the wind's blowing in. It feels like it was back in February again. How do you get your guys adjusted to playing in this weather, since it's been pretty nice weather for most of this week until we got to today?
Well, we've had a great last couple of weeks. I just think if you're a baseball player in the Midwest, you got to play in whatever it is, and sometimes that's it's a day like today where it's cold and the wind's coming out of the north, and sometimes it's 75 and the wind's blowing out 20 miles an hour. The pitchers don't actually love that weather. So I just think it's part of the deal, and we just try to talk about all year and prepare them, and we play in all sorts of different weather, from Florida to Indiana in February. And so I just think, like, if you're a player, you just go out and play, and you make adjustments, and we're going to have to handle that wind on balls in the air, and it's a little slick, so you may see some guys overslide some base on the turf or things like that, but ultimately, if you're a player, you just go out and play.
Today's opponent, Indiana Wesleyan, they were the regular season Crossroads League champions a year ago, edging you guys out by a couple of games. They made their second ever appearance in the NAIA tournament, both under current head coach Rich Benjamin. They've had a rough start, particularly in non-conference play, but they've kind of found their rhythm here as of late, like you guys have. What's helped them the last few weeks, and what's led to their recent streak of success?
Well, I mean, a couple of things. Number one, their offense is just gone crazy, and you look at the power numbers, and I think as that weather warmed up, and it's the kind of team they are, and so they're really explosive on offense and can leave the yard, especially a lot of guys in that lineup can leave the yard. So I think the offense has kind of led the way with that. And then, the guy we're going to see on the mound today is as good as anybody in our league. And so they have some power arms in the starting rotation, and the offense definitely has some pop in it. And even today with the wind blowing, it's kind of blowing sideways, but it's a good wind to be a left-handed hitter. They got 2 of them with power, so it looks like they're playing better, and hopefully have a good series.
Well, what will it take to come away with a Game 1 win this afternoon?
Man, I'll tell you the same thing I've been telling you. We need our starter to get us deep in the game and give our bullpen a chance, and just give our offense time to get going a little bit and to score some runs, because we're facing a good arm, and I don't expect he's going to give us much, so we're going to have to do it with the bat. So just need a good start from Luke, who's been really good lately, and make some plays on defense and just give us time. And when we've done that, our offense has got going, like the middle and deep in games, especially over the past few weeks. So I think that's what it'll take.
Kyle, thanks for the time, and good luck against Iowa today.
Thanks, Rick.
Good afternoon and welcome here to Winter Holder Field here on the campus of Taylor University for today's Crossroads League matchup between Indiana Wesleyan and Taylor. Luke Shively on the mound here for the Trojans. We are underway. Both pitches low to the starting shortstop Parker Johnson today here for Indiana Wesleyan.
Batting, the catcher, Brady West.
2-1 pitch flown out towards Whitman in center for out number one, and that will bring up the catcher Brady West. Indiana Wesleyan comes in with an overall record of 18-25. They're 12-9 in Crossroads League play and 7-17 on the road. Taylor 31-13, 11th straight year that the Trojans have won 11 games in a baseball season. 11-9 in the league, 14-5 here at home. And Shively's first one away from the catcher, Brady West. Shively on the mound, a 3-4 overall record. This one hit hard into the air. Whitman going back, takes a look back at the warning track, takes a couple steps forward. He has to come in a couple extra paces, but is able to make the play for out number two. 2 up and 2 down, both on flyouts to Whitman in center field here for Indiana Wesleyan in the top half of the first inning.
The left fielder, Ethan English.
No score in the top of the first. Here's the left fielder, Ethan English, who's the top batter for Indiana Wesleyan on the year with a .369 average. Shively's fastball is down the middle for a called strike. The defense behind Shively today, Christian McGill in left, Wyatt Whitman in center, Jonathan Foster in right, Brett Lawson at third, Josh Lane at short. Curveball fouled off to the right in the parking lot for strike 2. Nick Rusci at second, Nathan Taggart at first, and Ben Calbaugh is behind the plate. English, the freshman from Jeffersonville, Indiana. A right-handed bat against the right-handed throwing Shively. The 0-2 comes home. That'll be fouled towards the Iwu dugout to our right. Following English will be Eater, Thixton, Gooden, Killian, Busby, and Coy to round out the order today for the Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats, who come in tied for third in the Crossroads League standings with Marion, the team that the Trojans defeated in a series last week, 2-1. Shively leaves one upstairs, 1 ball, 2 strikes. It was a rough start to the non-conference play for Indiana Wesleyan, but they've found their groove here over the last few weeks, having a long extended win streak snapped earlier this week. A swing and a miss. Calbaugh can't make the tag. He'll toss it down to first. That's a 3-up, 3-down top of the first inning. Taylor comes up to bat for the first time after this break here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Join the Trojan Club today and support Taylor student athletes 12 months a year. The Trojan Club has 6 different levels of membership for you to choose from. You can join for as low as $100, all the way up to the athletic director level for $1,500. Each level receives premiums, complimentary season tickets, as well as gifts from the athletic department. Members also receive special recognition during halftime of the annual Silent Night game. In recent years, members have helped supply the funds for a sports information position, purchasing equipment for teams and the athletic training staff, and providing broadcasts of Trojan athletics, like the one you're enjoying right now. With the support of alumni and friends, the Taylor combination of spiritual growth, outstanding academics, and a highly competitive intercollegiate athletic program can continue. To join, call 765-998-5311 or log on to athletics.taylor.edu and search Trojan Club. The Trojan Club, supporting Taylor University's student athletes.
second baseman Nick Rushi.
Taylor with the normal batting order we've seen here over the last few weeks. Rushi, Taggart, and the DH TJ Bass today, the top third of the Taylor order. First one from the pitcher, John Young, is in there for a strike, who one of the last few times he had been here at Taylor University during the Crossroads League tournament, he took a no-hitter deep in that contest. Rushi, little slapper right side, a diving stop by the first baseman Eater. He steps on first for out number 1. And I'll bring up Nathan Taggart. Following Taggart will be Bass, Whitman, Lawson, Lane, Calbaugh, McGill, and Foster, as they square off against John Young here today. Most wins on the IWU staff as he makes his both 11th appearance and 11th start. A 5-2 overall record with a 3.88 ERA for Young this season. Takes the first one inside, does Taggart on a breaking ball for a called strike. Taggart 10 hits away from breaking the all-time hits record here at Taylor. Second one from the righty Young, a swing and a miss by Taggart on the outside half. It's 0-2. Nathan playing in his 13th game back from injury, batting .292 with 19 hits, 6 doubles, and a pair of home runs. The 0-2 from Young with 1 out. Be fouled off to the right. It remains 0-2. Parking lot pretty clear today with all the students, for the most part, gone off celebrating, getting ready to celebrate the Easter holiday coming up on Sunday. This one a little bit straighter this time, but still foul off to the right. And it remains no balls and 2 strikes to Taylor's first baseman, Nathan Taggart, here in a scoreless bottom of the first with nobody on and 1 out. The 0-2 again from the righty Young. Taggart, a high bouncer right side to Eater at first. He'll field, he'll call off Young, and that's back-to-back ground outs to first, just like happened in the top of the first. The first 2 outs were to the same man. That was to Taylor's Wyatt Whitman in center here in the Trojans' bottom half of the first. The first 2 outs bouncing over towards Eater at first. Young, a 6-foot junior out of Batavia, Illinois, excuse me. And he squares off against the freshman TJ Bass. A fastball at the knees for a called strike. Young on the season, a team-high 55 strikeouts to just 15 walks. Opponents are batting .279 against Young this season. Low and in for a called strike 2 on the righty TJ Bass. Bass, the Trojans, one of their better batters this season, batting .322 with 39 hits. He's down 0-2 in the count here with 2 outs and the bases clear. Young sends one high and away, and the count goes to 1-2. Huntington and Mount Vernon Nazarene have already locked in spots into the Crossroads League tournament. But the regular season crown still in doubt. Young will just miss on the outside corner, low and away from Bass, and the count goes to 2-2, as the IWU infield thought that one was good enough for strike 3. Gooden at third, Johnson at short, Coy at second, Eater at first, the infield. Bass will hit this one to the left side. Charging in and snagging it is Gooden. He'll whip it across, and Eater steps on his tiptoes and hauls it in. 3 up, 3 down for both sides in our first inning. We're scoreless through 1 here on the Trojans Sports Network.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
power-hitting righty Caleb Eder leads it off for Indiana Wesleyan here in the top half of the second. He is the program leader in career home runs with 34. He has 13 round trippers on the year to lead the Wildcats. First one a strike, the second one a swing and miss strike. And Eder quickly down on the count, 0-2. Eder batting .316 this year, 43 hits, a team-high 15 doubles, and 35 runs batted in, 1 off. The top spot for Indiana Wesleyan. This one bounces right off the side of home plate, fielded by Calbaugh behind the plate, and it remains a foul ball. The count 0-2. Following Eder will be Thixton and Gooden, as we're scoreless here in the top half of the second. Wind blows in today with overcast skies and a little bit of spitting rain. Breaking ball at the knees freezes Eder. Shively gets his second strikeout and second strikeout in a row. There's one gone here in the second on a beautiful breaking ball by the righty, Luke Shively.
Center fielder, Ty Thixton.
And that'll bring up the center fielder, Ty Thixton. Inside comes Shively for a called strike one. Again, the defense behind Shively today, McGill in left, Whitman in center, Foster in right, so good speed out there on the outfield grass for TU. Shively missing low for ball one, 1-1. Lawson at third, Lane at short, Ruschi at second, Taggart at first, and Calbaugh behind the plate. A ball and a strike to Thixton, the junior outfielder out of Greenwood, Indiana. Shively inside this time to the righty, 2 balls and a strike. Indiana Wesleyan in their road red uniforms today with gray pants and red socks with white numbers on the front and back. The 2-1 from Shively with one gone, high and in for ball 3. Taylor counters in their home white uniforms with gold letters trimmed in purple and gold numbers as well with white pants. The 3-1 with one out and the base is clear. And that'll be the first walk of the afternoon. The first base runner on here for Indiana Wesleyan. It's a 1-out walk to the center fielder, Ty Thixton.
Now batting, the third baseman, Lucas Gooden.
Taylor head coach Kyle Gould walks out of the dugout. He'll redirect Foster there in right with the lefty third baseman Lucas Gooden stepping in for the first time today. Shows bunt. Shively comes in. And it's low, called for ball 1. Indiana Wesleyan a year ago won their first Crossroads League Crossroads League championship in over 30 years, dating all the way back to the 80s. As they swept Taylor in the regular season series a year ago and edged the Trojans in the league standings by a couple of games. Bouncer up the middle. Taylor might be able to turn 2. Lane will fumble with it. He gets it off the end of the glove, but he can't get it to second in time, as Lawson came over to help as the Trojans were in the shift. Now running over to third with nobody covering will be the center fielder, Thixton, as the Trojans were in the shift. Nobody was covering third, and Thixton wisely scampers down to third. It'll go down as an E6 against Lane, and now Indiana Wesleyan with men at the corners as the Trojans were in the shift with only one out as Iwu tries to strike first here in the top of the second. So the infield playing in slightly as the DH Tanner Killian bats for the first time with men at the corners and no score in the top of the second and 1 out. Shively out of the stretch, foul tip to the backstop for a called strike, or strike 1, excuse me. So you've got Thixton at third, Gooden at first after the wise base running by Thixton, seeing nobody covering third base as the Trojans were in the heavy shift against the lefty Gooden. Shively sets the right shoulder, looks over his left shoulder. Now a bunt is shown. This one dives perfectly in front of home plate. Calbaugh bare hand toss down to first for out number 2. And a good look back by both Shively and Calbaugh to stare Thixton back to third base. It moves Gooden down to second, but there are 2 outs on the board here at the top of the second with now 2 runners in scoring position for Indiana Wesleyan. Two outs and 2 on for the right fielder, Busby. That one low, good cover by Calbaugh for ball 1. Busby, that open right-handed batting stance. The 1-0 comes home from Shively. A curveball will make it 1-1 on the inside corner. Thixton at third, Gooden at second. 2 outs in the top of the scoreless second inning. Shively into the windup here. Third one, a ground ball up the middle. Lane will charge, he'll field, he'll spin, he'll fire, and Taggart leans out and gets the out at first as Lane makes up for the fielding error earlier in this inning with a spinning throw to first to leave runners stranded at second and third. We're still scoreless through 1.5 here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Greek's Pizzeria in Upland opened its doors in December of 2017. Over the years, there have been more than 140 Greeks opened across the country, with 24 Indiana locations. When it comes to pizza, Greeks offers customers the option to create their own pizza or to try one of Greek's specialized pizzas. Greeks uses fresh, homemade, hand-tossed dough, Greek's Italian sauce, select blended cheeses, gourmet toppings, and the same method of preparation since the first restaurant opened in 1969. The kitchen can also whip up a sandwich served on fresh French-style bread, or can put that sandwich into a pizza shell wrap. Customers can also add breadsticks or French-style bread as a side item. Greeks also offers a selection of salads and assorted dressings as well. Greeks is located just off Main Street in Upland and is a proud supporter of Taylor University Athletics. Greek's Pizzeria. It's our taste.
So a nice play by Taylor shortstop Josh Lane. Keeps runs off the board for Indiana Wesleyan, and now his senior classmate Wyatt Whitman leads things off in the bottom of the second for Taylor. It's a called strike from the pitcher John Young. Whitman, Lawson, and Lane, the three coming up for Taylor here in the bottom of the second. Little ground ball to the right side, right towards Coy at second. He'll toss one high, but Eder, a tall man himself, will haul it in. Standing at 6-3 over there at first, and there's one out here in the second inning for Taylor. Two teams come in today separated by a half game in the standings. The Trojans a half game back of that two-way tie between Indiana Wesleyan and Marion for third spot in the league. And the Trojans 3 games back of second and 3.5 games back of first as we play here late in the Crossroads League regular season. Lawson swings and misses at a fastball, strike one. With one out and the bases empty here in the second inning. Taylor dugout cheering on Lawson to our left. He'll foul the second one back. It's 0-2. Scoreless bottom of the second. Taylor in the home whites. Indiana Wesleyan in the red with gray pants. Lawson down 0-2 to the righty Young, who goes into the windup. A leg kick to the outside corner, missing. Ball one. We're at the third best batting average for the Trojans. Just a couple points below 300 at 296. But he comes in with the second most hits for TU on the year with 40. The 1-2 from Young as rain starts to spit down from overhead, and Young gets his first strikeout of the day with a breaking ball to the outside corner. Gets Lawson looking. And there are 2 outs for Taylor here with nobody on in the second and no score. A couple weeks ago, before both of these teams went on their respective fairly decent-sized winning streaks, which were both snapped in the last week or so, both Taylor and Indiana Wesleyan, the Wildcats were picked to finish first in the Crossroads League. Taylor picked to finish second. Both teams were sitting outside of the Crossroads League tournament picture, with Taylor sitting in 9th and Indiana Wesleyan in 10th. But the last 2 weeks have been really good to the two schools that call Grant County home. Pitch 1 to Lane is a called strike on the outside half. So the two teams have gone from outside of the playoff and the tournament picture looking in to now both squarely in the hunt to make a push for the regular season title. A strike to Lane, bases clear, 2 outs. Shows bunt here to the outside corner, goes Young, missing for ball one. Lane had a productive doubleheader as the Trojans swept Bethel on Tuesday to get to 31 wins on the year. Third one to Lane from Young, low ball 2. As Lane had a couple of extra base hits, drove in a couple of runs as well in the double dip. He's ahead here 2-1, batting .248 this season. As Taylor tries to get their first base runner on all day. Fourth pitch, that's going to do it as it screams back up the middle between the legs of Young on the mound. A 2-out single for Josh Lane. It's our first hit of the day between either team. And Taylor's got a man on with 2 outs. And no score as, again, the rain starts to spit down from overhead. And stepping in for his first at-bat of the day will be Ben Cowball, the Taylor catcher.
Now batting, the catcher, Ben Cowball.
Wind blowing in today from left field. Also kind of blowing out towards the right field foul pole as well. Lane's going to head down to second on the first pitch. West throws. It's going to go bounce into center field. Not far enough for Lane to head down to third. The two guys who played summer collegiate baseball this year in Missouri. West can't get out his former summer teammate Lane here. And the Trojans have got a man in scoring position on Lane's stolen base. Ball 1 to Cowball. Lane, along with Whitman, played on the same for the Hannibal Hoots this summer with Brady West, the Indiana Wesleyan catcher. A ball to Cowball using a new bat here this afternoon. 2 outs. He will smoke this one down the left field corner. It'll land just foul by a hair. Cowball pulled it up the left field line. It lands just to the left of that white chalk line in the outfield grass for a long strike 1. Lane was going on contact with 2 outs. It would have been an easy RBI for Cowball. And now Lane will jog back to his spot at second. 1-1 the count to Cowball at the plate with no score here in the home half of the second inning. Young, the righty, out of the stretch. Sets at the belly button and delivers home. His fastball off the outside part of the plate puts Cowball ahead 2-1. Ben batting .244 this year with a pair of home runs and 8 doubles and 18 runs driven in. He calls time here and will step out of the box. Wind blows out towards the right field foul pole. Temperature in the low 40s today. So we had 70s earlier in the week before that rain came in and dropped an inch or so yesterday. 2-1, dribbler through the right side, gets on through. Lane will be waved around from second. Coming up, throwing is Busby from right. It'll be a play at the plate and the throw not in time as Lane scores from second. The Trojans get back-to-back singles with 2 outs, and Cowball drives in his 19th run of the year, and Taylor takes an early 1-0 lead. So after Taylor looked to be going into this bottom half of the second, trailing by at least 1, maybe 2, with the runners at second and third for Indiana Wesleyan, they were unable to cash in with the Wildcats. And now Taylor comes through with back-to-back 2-out singles, helped by this Lane stolen base. First one to McGill, will go after it, but will golf it foul to the right. Kelsheimer comes in to run for the catcher Cowball over at first. And Taylor on top 1-0 thanks to the 1-out single by Lane, his stolen base. And then the 2-out single by Lane and the 2-out single from Cowball. Second one from Young, upstairs, ball 1. McGill batting .288 here in 2019. A pair of juniors squaring off here between Young and McGill. This one will ride the wind and loop into right field. Kelsheimer will hold up at second base, fumbling with it as Busby with his head wrapped for warmth over there in right. But a little golf swing there from McGill will slice it to right field. And now there are 2 on and still 2 outs for the Trojans. Jonathan Foster was set to bat, but now the Trojans will pinch hit here and bring in the big swinging Brian Fields. As Taylor tries to jump on Indiana Wesleyan early, here with the last 3 batters reaching base safely. As Fields will pinch hit here for Jonathan Foster. And after the first 5 men were retired in order, Taylor's put the last 3 men to the plate safely. And the first of those 3 coming home to score in the form of Josh Lane. So here's Brian Fields, who hit one to the moon on Tuesday up at Bethel. 2 on here and 2 out. Fastball, and Fields trying to hit this one to the moon again. He'll swing and miss for a strike. He's really going to have to poke one out there today with that wind howling in from left to right today. Young peers in, Kelsheimer at second, McGill at first. Low and in for a called strike, 2 at the knees to the right-handed bat of Brian Fields, who pinch hits for the right fielder Jonathan Foster, who's in the 9 spot today in the Taylor order. 1 run home for Taylor here in the bottom of the second, looking for more with the junior Fields here at the plate. The 0-2. Opposite batter's box, a good eye from Brian, makes it 1-2, with Kelsheimer sashaying and dancing off of second base. 3 straight singles for the Trojans, 2 on and 1 in as they lead 1-0 here in the second. Fields waits as Young gets the sign from West behind the plate. 1-2 comes home, and Fields will swing and miss as Young gets his second strikeout of the day. The Trojans leave 2 stranded, but they get a 2-out RBI single from Ben Cowball to put Taylor up 1-0 after 2 here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Ivanhoe's has been serving Taylor students since 1965, when Ivan and Carol Slane purchased the restaurant. Located on Main Street, Ivanhoe's is less than a mile from the Taylor campus and is open 7 days a week. The menu features choices for lunch, dinner, as well as 100 different milkshakes and sundaes. Customers can find other dessert items as well. The staff is proud to support Taylor University and appreciates the support of Ivanhoe's through the years.
A 1-0 lead here for Taylor in the top of the third, leading it off with the number 9 batter Nick Coy, their second baseman. They'll go back to the top of the order with Parker Johnson and Brady West. 3 straight singles for the Trojans with 2 outs in the bottom of the second have given them a 1-0 lead. But shy of the off target here to start, it's 2-0 to the second baseman Coy. Still no hits for Indiana Wesleyan. They were the beneficiaries of a walk and an error, but they stranded both those runners on an inning ago. Shively in there for a called strike. It's 2-1. Coy, a sophomore, 5'11", 185 pounds, out of Greenwood, Indiana. The 2-1. Foul tips into the glove of Cowball, and the count evens up at 2-2. Coy on the year batting .327 with 12 batted in and 1 home run, with the 4th best batting average for Indiana Wesleyan on the year. The 2-2. He'll foul tip a curveball back and stay alive as he leads things off here in the top half of the third. Same 2 teams scheduled to play tomorrow, weather permitting, of course. And the 2-2 again to Coy. Off the end of the bat to right field, Foster, who re-enters, comes charging in and makes a leaning catch at the shoe tops for out number 1. I'm going to go back to the top of the order here in Parker Johnson, the shortstop. Last week we had a whole slew of Taylor baseball alums here. We have another good group here today. Tanner Watson, last year's NAI Gold Glove Award winner at the catcher spot, down there with Rob Fox, Matt Patton, and Colin Eggleston. First pitch swinging, popped into the air to the infield. It's Johnson. Foul territory. Nathan Taggart comes over through the first base coach's box in 1 pitch, and there's out number 2 here in the third inning. One of those alums that was back here last week was the former 3-time Crossroads League Pitcher of the Year in Josh DeGraff, who just recently retired from professional baseball a couple of weeks ago. I had a chance to talk with Josh. That interview will be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. 2 outs, bases empty for the catcher Brady West as they back Foster all the way up with West, a left-handed bat, and that wind screaming out towards the right field foul pole. 2 outs, base is empty. Taylor on top 1-0 with Iwu batting here at the top of the third, and Shively will miss low and away for a ball. West flew out to Whitman in center his first time up. And Shively ready to go. Second one, swing and a miss for strike one. West batting .281 this year with 9 home runs and 14 doubles and 28 driven in. Third one from Shively, a curveball that misses above the letters, 2-1. Shively making his 12th appearance of the year, his 10th start for the Trojans. And now he's falling behind 3-1, that one low in the turf. 2 outs, nobody on. Iwu down 1-0 as they bat here at the top of the third. Shively takes a deep breath, goes into the windup, the 3-1, and West will foul it away to make the count full. Campus pretty much a ghost town with all the students pretty much have left outside of our spring athletes to go home for the Easter holiday coming up on Sunday. And with the weather like it is, it feels like what we were when we had home baseball games over spring break, where campus was empty as well. The payoff pitch from Shively will bounce in, ricochet off the shoulder of Calabal. He'll hustle to the backstop, but West will take a leisurely jog down to first. And there's 2 outs and 1 on. Third base runner of the afternoon here for Indiana Wesleyan, and Bryce Lenz will come into courtesy run for the catcher West.
Now batting, the first baseman, Caleb Eater.
Tying run on here with 2 outs for Indiana Wesleyan and the first baseman Caleb Eater. Or make that Ethan English, excuse me. Eater waits on deck. Ball one, that one low and away. I knew something was amiss because Eater normally doesn't use batting gloves, and English steps up there with a pair of white Franklin batting gloves on there now. They check on the runner, Lenz at first. 2 outs, and he's the tying run over there at the first base bag with Indiana Wesleyan batting here at the top of the third. English struck out swinging his first time up to end the top of the first. Shively out of the stretch. Away for ball 2. English batting .369 this year, the top batting average for Indiana Wesleyan. 10 home runs and 36 driven in, slugging a whopping .748 this year for the Wildcats offensively. Third one, and Shively misses away again, falling behind 3-0. In danger of dealing out his 3rd walk of the day. This has been the Trojans' bugaboo here this season. One of the top ERAs and top opponent batting averages in the country, but they've allowed the 2nd most walks in the Crossroads League this season. It'll be a 4-pitch walk here, 3rd one of the day for Shively. And now the tying run and go-ahead runners on for Indiana Wesleyan, and that means we'll get to see our first mound visit from first-year pitching coach Justin Barber. Taylor pitchers this year have walked now 205 batters. But then you look at their ERAs, 2.89, and opponent batting average coming in as a staff is 202. It's kind of like that old song, one of these things is not like the other. That's exactly what that number is with that now 205 walks on the year. Shively has given out how many this year? With the 5 today, that's now 28, which ties him for the team lead with Gongwer. Lenz, the tying runner, stands at second, and a 4-pitch walk to English. He is at first. For the career leader in home runs at Indiana Wesleyan, Caleb Eater.
Now batting, the first baseman.
As he adjusts his gray pants before stepping in. 2-1 and 2 out in the top of the third. Indiana Wesleyan trailing by a single run. And that'll be the 5th pitch out of the zone. Or 6th pitch out of the zone, excuse me. And it's 1-0 to Eater, who struck out looking to lead things off an inning ago in the 2nd inning. A big spot here for the Iwu first baseman to either tie or give Indiana Wesleyan the lead. They'll go around on a breaking ball, fanning at it. It's 1-1. Eder, a senior, 6'3", from North Vernon, Indiana, the former high school teammate of Taylor pitcher Justin Pettit. Third one from Shively. One hopper to Lane. It'll bounce past him into the outfield. That'll tie our game at 1. And that'll be all that Eder can do, but it's enough. 1-1 our score with 2 outs. And after Taylor went on top 1-0 thanks to a 2-out single, Indiana Wesleyan comes back a half inning later with a 2-out single from Eder to knot our game at 1 apiece.
Now batting, the center fielder, Ty Thixton.
Still 2 on and 2 out for Ty Thixton, the center fielder. Another time a walk comes back to hurt the Trojans here, this time of the 2-out variety. Shively steps off the mound to gather his thoughts before dealing the first one home to Thixton. Wind blows out towards right field again. That one bounces in. Cowball keeps it in front of him. Runners stay where they are. A ball to Thixton, who walked his first time up. Shively's pitch count already climbing pretty high here. 2 pitches away from 50 as we sit with 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd. English at second, Eder at first after the 2-out RBI single as activity starts to begin in the Taylor bullpen. Off the end of the bat down the right field line, but this one will get out of here foul, and it's 1-1. Thixton batting .331 this season with 53 hits. That's tops for Indiana Wesleyan. 11 doubles and 5 home runs and 29 driven in. As Rob Fox's puppy barks down below us. Good leads for the runners at first and second, and again another one fouled out, a play to the right. 1-2 to Thixton as Shively tries to get out of the inning with only 1 run on the board here for the visitors from Marion, Indiana. So it's Noah Huseman, the Taylor righty, getting loose in the bullpen down to our left. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 on and 2 out in the 3rd. 1 run in for Indiana Wesleyan, and a curveball bounces in short to even the count at 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs and 2 on here for the visitors of Indiana Wesleyan. Shively sets, looks at the runner at second, deals home. This one hit in the air towards center. Whitman going back pedals, maneuvers to his left, and he makes the catch for out number 3. But 1 run comes home on the RBI single by Caleb Eder. And after 2.5, we're tied at 1 here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Greek's Pizzeria in Upland opened its doors in December of 2017. Over the years, there have been more than 140 Greeks opened across the country, with 24 Indiana locations. When it comes to pizza, Greeks offers customers the option to create their own pizza or to try one of Greek's specialized pizzas. Greeks uses fresh, homemade, hand-tossed dough, Greek's Italian sauce, select blended cheeses, gourmet toppings, and the same method of preparation since the first restaurant opened in 1969. The kitchen can also whip up a sandwich served on fresh French-style bread, or can put that sandwich into a pizza shell wrap. Customers can also add breadsticks or French-style bread as a side item. Greeks also offers a selection of salads and assorted dressings as well. Greeks is located just off Main Street in Upland and is a proud supporter of Taylor University Athletics. Greek's Pizzeria. It's our taste.
Top of the order up for Taylor as they try to go back in front after the Eder 2-out RBI single to knot our game at 1. Ruschi takes the first one, a fastball to the outside half of the plate for a called strike. Top of the order up here for the Trojans, Ruschi, Taggart, and Bass. Taylor with 3 hits on the day, all coming in the bottom of the second with 2 outs to produce their first run of the afternoon. Second one to Rushi up high from Young for ball 1. Nick grounded out to the first baseman, Eater. His only time up today in the bottom of the first. Second behind his classmate TJ Bass, and batting average for the Trojans at .321. A dribbler to the right side, rolled over to Coy at second. Eater looked to maybe slip over there at first, got back to his feet. And Rushi now 0 for 2 on the day with a ground out at second to lead things off here in the bottom of the third. That'll bring up Taggart. Mike Math was off his first time up. Nathan 10 hits away from tying the career hits mark, 11 from breaking it. First pitch, a pop-up to the outfield. Playing way back was English. Backpedaling is the shortstop, Johnson, who makes the catch in shallow left for a 1-pitch out. 2 outs for Taylor here in the bottom of the third. They'll try to get another 2-out rally going here. And the man to try to get it going will be TJ Bass, the DH. Taylor with a very aggressive approach here against the power-throwing Young. And we'll see what Bass can do here batting as a DH today. Was the catcher in both games against Bethel on Tuesday. First pitch, fastball, taken for a strike. TJ leads the Trojans coming into the day in batting average at .322. Also a team-leading 4 home runs. Second one from Young. A swing and a miss by Bass. It's 0-2. Bases clear, 2 outs. Game tied at 1 here in the bottom of the third. Young, the righty, out of the windup. Bass, the open right-handed batting stance. We'll watch one fly away to the outside part of the plate for ball 1. Young leads the Iwu staff in wins with 5. Second most appearances on the year now with 11. This one will bounce away. Ricochets away from West, and the count evens up 2-2. No damage done with the bases empty. Young, the ace of the staff, here for Indiana Wesleyan in 2019. 2-2 with 2 outs. Nobody on here in the third for Taylor, and Bass stays alive, fouling it back. Sun tries to peek out from behind the clouds overhead here on a Good Friday. The spitting rain looks to have stopped, at least for the time being. It rained pretty much all day yesterday. It looked like it was going to rain all day today, and then magically overnight the rain just moved out of here. Another 2-2 from Young to Bass. Opposite batter's box, and the righty Bass will get ready for a full count pitch from the righty John Young. 3 hits for Taylor and their 1 run. Those are their only base runners here all day. The 3-2 to Bass. Hard hit. That one almost took Young's head off as that one sails into the outfield for a 2-out single. And the Trojans hoping for the same magic they had an inning ago with a 2-out single when it led to their first run of the day. Good job by Young to duck out of the way, out of the guy who's tied with Cowball and Bass for the highest exit velocity for the Trojans when that was measured this fall. So Bass, the go-ahead runner at first for the center fielder Wyatt Whitman. Wyatt 0 for 1 today. 4 hits for the Trojans, all singles and all coming with 2 outs here in the last 2 innings. Young peers in out of the stretch. First one to Whitman, missing low below the knees, ball 1. Wyatt a ground out to Coy at second, his first time up. As the sun again comes out from behind the gray clouds overhead. Swing and a miss. Whitman misses. It's 1-1. Indiana Wesleyan just 7-17 on the road this year. Taylor pretty dominant at home, going 14-5. Whitman fouls off the third pitch to make it 1-2. Bass stands at first after his line drive up the middle with 2 outs. Game tied at 1 with Taylor batting in the bottom of the third. The 1-2. Whitman fouls it off to the right, chasing 1 low. Third baseman Brett Lawson waits on deck if Wyatt can get on here with 2 outs. A ball and 2 strikes from Young, the pitch. Bouncing in, Bass will stay over there at first. A good block by West to keep the ball in front of him. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the senior Wyatt Whitman out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Wind blows out towards the right field foul pole once again. And the 2-2 to Whitman. Swings and misses as Young gets his 3rd strikeout of the day. That leaves the go-ahead runner stranded at first, and we're through 3 and tied at 1 here on the Trojan Sports Network.
The Taylor University campus store, with their innovative textbook butler delivery service and name brand Taylor apparel and gifts, supports the Trojans year-round. The campus store, powered by Tree of Life Books, is a proud corporate partner of TU Athletics. It's easy to find something to show off someone's TU pride with 2 campus locations, one in the Dome and one in the campus center near the food court. The store is also open 24/7 at TaylorCampusStore.com.
First pitch sent towards Whitman in center. This one hit a mile in the air, and Wyatt makes a casual catch in center. 1 pitch and 1 out as Gooden is retired. As things are underway here for Taylor and Indiana Wesleyan in the top of the 4th, with the game even at a run aside. So Gooden flies out to center. He's 0 for 2 today. Now here's the DH, Tanner Killian. Curveball, little half swing from Killian, fouled off to the right. As Shively back on the hill for his 4th inning of work. We do see Justin Pettit jogging down there for Taylor with some of his mates to get loose. We saw Huseman getting warmed up for Taylor an inning ago, but he was not needed. Shively upstairs, 1-1. To the DH, Tanner Killian, 0 for 1 on the day, out on a bunt attempt. Back there with 1 out in the 2nd inning. He bats here with 1 out in the 4th, and now he falls behind 1-2 on a curveball from the righty Shively to make it 1-2. Three walks on the day for Shively, 2 strikeouts. And the game even in a run apiece. Wind picks up once again, blowing into the face of the batter. 1-2. Curveball, he'll swing and miss, and there's Shively's 3rd K, and there are 2 outs for Indiana Wesleyan here in the 4th. There's another good breaking ball thrown there by Shively. And here's the right fielder, Stephen Busby, who's bundled up from head to toe. He's got that warm head sock on, covering everything except his nostrils and his eyes. And the masked man will take the first one on the outside corner for a called strike. So it's Pettit getting loose for Taylor in the bullpen right now. We're in the top of the 4th, 2 outs and nobody on for the right fielder, Stephen Busby. 0-1. He'll pop it up and now falls behind 0-2 as that one sails to the vacated parking lot behind us. Taylor will be here at home again tomorrow for the doubleheader against Indiana Wesleyan, and then the 3rd game of the series with Mount Vernon Nazarene played here on Monday. The 0-2 to Busby. Curveball high and away, a good eye for ball 1. Temperatures thankfully look much better on Monday. A low in the 50s, clouds, and a high in the low 70s. Also good for the Taylor women's golf team, who opens up the Crossroads League Championships on Monday down just outside of Indianapolis. 1-2 breaking ball. Shively misses by a hair, and it's 2-2. As Cameron Andrew and the Taylor women's golf team go for their 3rd straight Crossroads League Championships after a 5th place finish at the national tournament a year ago. 2-2 slapped away to the right, and remains an even count to Busby. 2 outs and nobody on. 1-1 our score. Taylor scored their single run in the second. Iowa answered with one in the top of the third. Headed down, they're just stretching things out right now. 2-2 from Shively to Busby. Missing below the knees, and the count now full, 3-2. And some interesting eyes there from former Taylor pitchers Rob Fox, Colin Eggleston, Matt Patton, and the catcher Tanner Watson. They all four of them thought that was good enough for strike 3. And that'll miss again, and a 2-out walk. 4th one allowed by Shively here on the afternoon. And Indiana Wesleyan will try to cash in on another 2-out walk like they did an inning ago. So Busby on for the first time today. It'll bring up the second baseman, Nick Coy. 3 strikeouts and 4 walks for the right-hander Shively today. Through 3 2/3. Fastball away, missing for ball 1. Coy flew out to Foster, made a catch on the top of the shoes in right field to start off that top of the 3rd inning. In the 4th here, Cowball can't make a backhand stop at the turf, and that'll move Busby into scoring position down to second base. 2-0 the count to the batter, Coy. Just 1 hit on the afternoon for Indiana Wesleyan, 4 walks, and an error against the Trojans defensively. And now Huseman, who already got warm an inning ago, now starts to throw pitches in the bullpen down to our left as he jogged down there with Pettit a few minutes ago. Shively low and in for ball 3. (3-0) to Coy. A wild pitch has moved the go-ahead runner into scoring position here for Indiana Wesleyan. That's their right fielder, Busby, who stands at second base. And Cowball will call time to talk things over with Shively. And again, just like what happened in the 3rd, first 2 batters were retired, and then it was back-to-back walks and a single that produced the first run of the day for Indiana Wesleyan to tie our game at 1. Same scenario here in the 4th. First 2 men retired, then a 2-out walk. And it's now 3-0 in the favor of the batter, Coy, trying to make it 2-1 and 2-out and turn the lineup over to the top and the shortstop, Parker Johnson. Time from Cowball, giving Huseman a couple more moments to warm up. Coy, the .327 average, 33 hits. So he bats out of the 9 spot here today for the Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan. 4th one from Shively. And just like the first 3, all outside the zone. Back-to-back 2-out walks to put runners at first and second for Indiana Wesleyan, trying to get their first lead of the day as the lineup turns over to the shortstop, Parker Johnson. And Shively will stay out there to face Parker Johnson, the shortstop. And right as we mentioned, that Taylor head coach Kyle Gould comes in, and they will pull Shively here and bring in Noah Huseman. We're back with the stats on Huseman after this here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Since opening in the late 1980s, the Maddox Family Dental Center has been focusing on providing the highest quality dental care for their patients. Children to adults can receive a full-service treatment to meet their dental needs. The Maddox Family Dental Center has 2 locations in Hartford City and Dunkirk and always welcomes new patients. The Maddox Family Dental Center, a proud corporate partner of Taylor University Athletics.
So Noah Huseman in here for the Trojans, trying to get the last out here in the fourth with 2 on. He faces the top of the order in the shortstop Parker Johnson. Huseman's fastball in, missing for a ball. Shively throws 68 pitches in 3 2/3, allows 1 hit, 5 walks, a run, and had 3 strikeouts, and he's responsible for the 2 guys on here. Second pitch from Huseman, up this time at the belt for a strike. A ball and a strike to the shortstop Johnson, who's 0 for 2 today. Back-to-back walks have put the runners on here. A little dribbler to the left side. Lawson will snag it. He'll get the easy out at second base, and there are 2 stranded here for the second inning in a row. We are tied through 3.5 at 1 on the Trojan Sports Network.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
First pitch single to the gap by Brett Lawson as the rain picks up here in the bottom of the fourth as Taylor tries to regain the lead. Lawson on for the first time today. He's 1 for 2. Fifth hit of the day for the Trojans, all singles. Now here's his Florida mate, Josh Lane. First one to Lane, hard hit left side, backhand stop, but then dropping, it's good and at third. Everybody's going to be safe as the rain picks up here. Nobody out for Taylor in the bottom of the fourth. They've got 2 on for Ben Calbaugh, and also a Florida native. And Calbaugh will come, looks like he'll come back into the dugout here and favor of a pinch hitter. McGill, the man on deck. We'll see who the Trojans will bring up here. They've already had 1 pinch hitter today in Fields. There are 2 on and nobody out here. They're going to give an error, actually. An E5 over there to Gooden as he had the ball in his mitt, but then it popped out. So Lane now 1 for 2 today, and it'll be the Trojans' utility player, Cody Tate, a lefty bat here for the Trojans with 2 on and nobody out, trying to go back in front with the game tied here.
Pinch hitting for Taylor. Number 16, Cody Tate.
Lawson at second, Lane at first with nobody out. And the game tied at 1 here in the bottom of the fourth. Righty on lefty matchup. Tate shows a bunt, and he'll foul it away here for a strike. Tate pitch hitting here for Ben Cowbaugh. Taylor might try to play a little small ball here with 2 outs and Eater creeping in from first. Lawson takes a step back. Tate again shows a bunt here. This one upstairs, 1-1. So it's Lawson at second, Lane at first, and Tate batting, pinch hitting for Cowbaugh here. With the rain starting to pick up in intensity here in the bottom of the 4th, with the game even at 1. Third one, Tate again, a bunt, punch up the third base side in no man's land. Coming in is good, and he'll field throw one high, covering the second baseman Coy for out number 1. But a great sacrifice bunt there by Tate moves the runners to second and third for McGill with the first out of the inning. One out, 2 on for McGill, and it looks like the Trojans might have another pinch hitter coming up here soon as Connor Crawford has stepped out of the Taylor dugout. But it's second and third for the Trojans, 1 out with the game tied at 1 here in the 4th for Christian McGill. And then McGill calls time as he steps out of the box. They've brought Busby in a couple paces there from right field. McGill 1 for 1 today, swings and misses down to a knee for strike 1. A slicing single for McGill, his first time up to the gap in right center. A hit here would potentially bring home a run, maybe 2 for Taylor. They bat in the bottom of the 4th, game even at 1. Young out of the stretch. McGill, a ground ball up the middle, ricochets off the mound. Sliding and stopping, it's Johnson at short, so he'll make it just an RBI single for McGill. A good slide by Johnson at short to prevent more runners from coming around. But the 6th hit of the day by the Trojans, McGill 2 for 2, and Taylor leads 2-1. So Lawson, the runner, scoring from third. Lane over there at third base to take his spot. And now here's Jonathan Foster, the right fielder. Wind again blows in towards the right field foul pole. And now Foster will step in. First time he's batted today. As Fields pinch hit for him his first time up in the order. Squeeze bunt here. Lane's got to hustle back to third. He'll be able to beat the third baseman good and back to the bag as the Trojans had the squeeze bunt on. Advancing now to seconds, McGill. And now it's second and third for the Trojans with a ball at the plate here as the Trojans tried to get crafty there, trying to extend their 2-1 lead. Lane with great speed, a guy that you don't have a problem doing that with. But a good job by Lane to hit the brakes and then scamper back to third. West, the catcher, looks to the dugout. Gets the sign for the pitch. And relays it to Young on the mound with McGill now at second and Lane over there at third base. So stolen base for McGill. Taylor 2 for 2 on stolen base tries. They bunt here from Foster, third base. Gooden, he won't try to throw it home. They'll throw to first. Having to tiptoe there was Eater over at first base and finally got his back heel on there. Almost didn't find the bag. Foster retired on the sac bunt, but Taylor increases their lead to 2 with McGill moving down to third. And we go back to the top of the order here, Nick Ruschi. Ruschi, a lefty against the right-handed throwing Young. First one's away for a ball. First crooked number up on the board for the Trojans today. They lead 3-1, answering the 1 run that tied the game by Wesleyan in the 3rd inning. Second one to Ruschi, swings and misses, and the count evens at 1-1. First 2 men reached in the inning for the Trojans. Both have come around to score. Now McGill stands at third. A 2-run lead for Taylor with Ruschi trying to find his way on for the first time today. Young misses low for ball 2 as the dog down below us didn't like that pitch just like Ruschi didn't like it. Nick batting .321 this year, freshman second baseman. The 4th one, up high, chin level, 3-1. 60th pitch thrown by Young today. 6 hits for the Trojans. All have been singles. Ruschi 0 for 2 on a pair of groundouts to the right side of the infield, but he's ahead 3-1 here with McGill standing at third base. Ruschi bouncing ball to the right side, coming in as Coy at second. He'll field and toss to first to end the bottom of the fourth inning, but Taylor tacks on 2 runs to regain a 2-run lead. They're ahead 3-1 after 4 here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Greek's Pizzeria in Upland opened its doors in December of 2017. Over the years, there have been more than 140 Greeks opened across the country, with 24 Indiana locations. When it comes to pizza, Greeks offers customers the option to create their own pizza or to try one of Greek's specialized pizzas. Greeks uses fresh, homemade, hand-tossed dough, Greek's Italian sauce, select blended cheeses, gourmet toppings, and the same method of preparation since the first restaurant opened in 1969. The kitchen can also whip up a sandwich served on fresh French-style bread, or can put that sandwich into a pizza shell wrap. Customers can also add breadsticks or French-style bread as a side item. Greeks also offers a selection of salads and assorted dressings as well. Greeks is located just off Main Street in Upland and is a proud supporter of Taylor University Athletics. Greek's Pizzeria. It's our taste.
Taylor back on top, this time by 2 after 2 runs come home in the bottom of the 4th on 2 hits, an error, and 1 left on. Huseman's first full inning of work starts as he faces off here against the catcher Brady West, and it's 0-2. West, English, and Eater, 2, 3, and 4, due up for Indiana Wesleyan here the top half of the 5th against the reliever Noah Huseman. Came in and got a ground out to end the Iwu threat an inning ago. The 0-2. West will golf this one on a half swing to Whitman in center. He'll jog forward, continues to jog forward, and makes the play for out number 1 as the Trojans again were in a heavy shift there against the lefties for Indiana Wesleyan.
Now batting, the left fielder, Ethan English.
And here's Ethan English, the left fielder. Huseman's breaking ball up high for a ball. We apologize for any of you folks that were trying to watch both baseball and softball. We got the softball stream up and working now, so we apologize for those technical difficulties. Good news, the Trojans on top 1-0 over there at Gudekunst Field. Taylor on top here, 3-1 over Indiana Wesleyan. The count 1-1 to Ethan English, the left fielder who's 0 for 1 today. Little swing and miss on 1 low and away for strike 2. English bats for the 3rd time, struck out swinging, and then walked his first time up, or his last time up. One out, base is empty here in the 5th. The 1-2. Foul tips it back to English, and he stays alive. English 6'4", 215 pounds. Out of Jeffersonville, Indiana. We're at the top of the 5th, and Indiana Wesleyan batting, trailing by 2. The 1-2. Fastball missing the outside corner, and the English will have the count even up at 2-2. Huseman, a 2.36 ERA, makes his 15th appearance of the year, a 4-0 overall record. And he misses again on the outside corner. It's full. 3-2. 23 Ks to 15 walks. Opponents batting just 172 against Huseman this season. Payoff pitch popped up. This one might stay in. Taggart tragging it. Foul territory right side. He's underneath of it, and there are 2 outs here in the 5th. Now this is where things have started to get dicey for Taylor defensively in the last 3 innings. The first 2 men have been retired in the 3rd and in the 4th. And then runners got on for Indiana Wesleyan. We'll see if Huseman can slam the door here as Taylor looks for their first 1, 2, 3 innings since the first inning. Wind picks up in intensity, blowing out to the right field corner. Huseman up high, ball 1. He faces the first baseman, Caleb Eder, who has the only hit and the only run-producing hit of the day for Indiana Wesleyan. An RBI single back in that 3rd. Golfs this one to the net to the right, 1-1. Eder struck out, looking his first time up in the 2nd. He'll swing and miss here and fall behind 1-2. First full inning of work for Huseman, trying to make it a good one. Huseman, the righty, out of the stretch. The 1-2. And Eder chases a fastball up high. A fist pump from the red-bearded right-hander Noah Huseman. And a 1-2-3 top of the 5th. Keeps Taylor in front 3-1 here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Since opening in the late 1980s, the Maddox Family Dental Center has been focusing on providing the highest quality dental care for their patients. Children to adults can receive a full-service treatment to meet their dental needs. The Maddox Family Dental Center has 2 locations in Hartford City and Dunkirk and always welcomes new patients. The Maddox Family Dental Center, a proud corporate partner of Taylor University Athletics.
First pitch sent to center field by Taggart. Thixton's got to run a whole ways in, but makes the catch for 1 pitch and 1 out to start things off in the bottom of the 5th. Following Taggart will be Bass and Whitman, with Taylor leading 3-1 here in the bottom of the 5th in game 1 of the 3-game series with Indiana Wesleyan. Taggart 0 for 3 today. Here's TJ Bass, 1 for 2. Fastball by Young to the outside corner for a called strike. Bass singled up the middle, almost taking Young's head off back in the 3rd. With the wind rippling his white uniform. A little bouncer this time. Young can't make the plays. It bounces past him in the center. Back-to-back singles in as many at-bats for TJ Bass. He's 2 for 3. And Taylor's got a man on with 1 out, leading 3-1. And then I'll bring up Wyatt Whitman, the center fielder, with baseballs flying in everywhere. From the outfield where the ball was hit, from the Taylor dugout to home plate. You can only play with 1 baseball, and so we've got that squared away. 1 on and 1 out for Wyatt Whitman, the center fielder. Young delivers a fastball low in the turf for ball 1. Wyatt a ground out and a strikeout his 2 times at the plate today, with the wind blowing out towards the right field foul pole. Second one, Whitman fouls it away, 1-1. Wyatt batting .236 this season with 34 hits, 9 doubles, a triple, and 3 home runs. Hard hit left side, might be 2. To the shortstop, Johnson. They get the out at second. Over to first, a low throw will be retiring Whitman over there at first by a half step. That ends the Taylor bottom of the 5th. We're through 5, and Taylor leads 3-1 here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Since opening in the late 1980s, the Maddox Family Dental Center has been focusing on providing the highest quality dental care for their patients. Children to adults can receive a full-service treatment to meet their dental needs. The Maddox Family Dental Center has 2 locations in Hartford City and Dunkirk and always welcomes new patients. The Maddox Family Dental Center, a proud corporate partner of Taylor University Athletics.
Through 5, Taylor on top 3-1. Noah Huseman's second inning of work starts here with a foul ball off the leg of Ty Thixton, the IWU center fielder. Thixton will be followed by Gooden and Killian, with IWU trailing 3-1, the beneficiary of 5 walks against the starter Luke Shively today. It's Noah Huseman, his second full inning of work since cleaning things up back in the fourth for the Trojans. Second one to Thixton away for ball 1. Thixton 0 for 1 today as he bats for the 3rd time. He walked back there in that second inning. 1-1, golf, and out of play to the right through the wind. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Thixton, the center fielder. Thixton batting .331 this year, has played and started in all 44 games for Indiana Wesleyan this year. He's a junior out of Greenwood, Indiana. Down to the count, 1-2 against the righty Huseman. Thixton will bounce one to the left side, right to the third baseman in Lawson. Whips it to first for out number 1. That wind has been a pest here all day. We'll see what Taylor wants to do here with and they will go back into the major shift as Lawson will jog all the way to the right side of the infield against the lefty bat of the third baseman, Lucas Gooden. So if Gooden could push one up the third base line, he'd easily be safe. He could probably moonwalk to first if there's no one over there. So 3 on the right side of the infield for Taylor in the shift. Gooden shows a bunt here. Huseman's fastball is low for ball 1. Gooden 0 for 2 today, reaching on a fielder's choice and flew out to center to lead things off in the 4th. So the right side of the infield goes Ruschi, Lawson, and Taggart. Fastball from Huseman away to the lefty Gooden, ball 2. Lane over there playing in his normal shortstop position. Man, maybe hugging a little bit closer to second than he normally would. The 2-0. Low and into the lefty, 3-0. The DH Killian waits on deck. He's a righty, so Taylor will get out of the shift and put Lawson back over to his normal third base spot. The 3-0. Down the middle for a strike. We've seen professional teams use the shift a lot in the most recent years, trying to retire pull hitters, and Taylor using that strategy here. 3-1, and that's low for ball 4. First batter to reach base safely against Huseman on the 6th walk allowed by a Taylor pitcher today. There's 1 on and 1 out for Indiana Wesleyan. Taylor goes back to the normal defensive alignment. We're on the top of the 6th. Indiana Wesleyan batting, trailing by 2. Indiana Wesleyan spun a double play to end the bottom of the 5th. Taylor like to turn one here to end the top of the 6th if they could. Inside comes Huseman. Leading out of the way is Killian for ball 1, or strike 1, excuse me. Killian, the DH, 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a strikeout swinging. Second one from Huseman. Wind really picking up here. This one through the wind to right field. Foster's going to have it sail over his head and all the way to the right field corner. This could be trouble for the Trojans. Being waved around from first will be Gooden. Killian digging for third. It goes off of Taggart's glove, and Killian will be in there sliding with an RBI triple. And And Indiana Wesleyan back to within one as that one just blew all the way to the right field corner with that wind screaming out to the foul pole over there in right today. First extra base hit for either side today, just the second one allowed by a Taylor pitcher this afternoon. As Gooden easily scores from first base, and Indiana Wesleyan back to within one. Huseman missing up high to the masked man, Stephen Busby. Busby walked his last time up. He's 0 for 1 today. But the tying run standing 90 feet away with one out here in the sixth. Huseman low and in for ball 2. And now Pettit starts to get warm in the Taylor bullpen down to our left. Game 1 of the 3-game series with a doubleheader coming up tomorrow, weather permitting. 2-0 from Huseman. Down the middle for a called strike. An RBI triple for Killian, his second one of the year. First Indiana Wesleyan batter with more than one triple on the year now. Little ground ball up the middle, and that will tie our game at 3. As Busby singles up the middle for his first hit of the day, and we're dead even at 3 with one out here in the 6th. And they'll bring up the second baseman, Nick Coy. And now Taylor head coach Kyle Gould will walk out of the dugout. Takes a look to his left in the bullpen, where Pettit is standing. And Pettit will have one more. They signaled Pettit into the field umpire, but Taylor head coach Kyle Gould did not make the signal just yet, so he'll bring in the infield to talk things over with them on the mound. And now they will signal Pettit in. We'll introduce you to Justin Pettit, the right-hander, after this. Indiana Wesleyan 2 here in the 6th. They've tied our game at 3 with one out here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Play that old song. You really want her to play it. That's what's really going to open her. You got to have the music that you listen to.
Second call to the bullpen by the Trojans today. They'll bring in the right-hander Justin Pettit with a go-ahead run and Busby over there at first as Indiana Wesleyan has pushed 2 runs across here at the top of the 6th to tie our game at 3. Pettit will face the right-handed swinging second baseman Nick Coy, with the game dead even at 3, with Taylor out hitting Indiana Wesleyan today 7-3. Pettit misses his first 2 ones upstairs, 2-0. To Coy, who's 0 for 1 today, with a fly out to right and a walk his 2 times at the plate today. He bats here with a go-ahead run and Busby over at first, 1 out in the 6th. Popped into the air, foul territory right side. Taggart watching it. He'll run out of room as that one gets out of play. Off to the right for strike 1. Pettit comes in with a 3.63 ERA, a 3-0 overall record, appearing in his 13th game of the season, his 4th one in relief. In 39 2/3 innings this season, opponents batting .219 off of him. He's got 36 strikeouts to 17 walks. The 2-1. Swing and a miss on a fastball, and Coy evens it up at 2-2. Huseman, the man that Pettit replaces, went an inning and 2/3, allowed 1 hit, a pair of runs, a walk, and a strikeout, and he's responsible for Busby over there at first. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Coy, the number 9 batter for Indiana Wesleyan. Pettit looks and delivers, high and in for ball 3. Indiana Wesleyan is yet to lead today. They've tied the game twice, in the 3rd and now here in the 6th. Full count to Coy with a man at first. He'll try to send this one through the wind. This one will die. Coming in is Whitman from center, calling it off, and McGill unable to make the play as that ball dies between 3 Taylor defenders, the shortstop lane, McGill, the left fielder, and Whitman from center. As McGill came in, it looked like he was the one that called everybody off, dove for it, but couldn't haul it in. There are 2 on for Indiana Wesleyan here with 1 out in the 6th, with the game tied at 3. So actually 2 hits allowed by Huseman, excuse me. And there are 2 on for the top of the order, and Parker Johnson, the shortstop. Johnson 0 for 3 this afternoon. Pettit out of the stretch, like he normally does. Curveball up high for a ball. Three-3 score. An RBI triple earlier in the inning by Killian and a single by Busby. To tie the game at 3, Busby now stands at second base. Curveball from Pettit, this time in there for a strike to make it 1-1. To the leadoff man, Johnson. Busby stands at second, Coy at first after the single to shallow left. Wind screams out towards the right field foul pole. The 1-1 towards where that wind is blowing, but it'll blow foul to where 3 Indiana Wesleyan players are playing catch on the grass outside of the chain link fence. A ball and 2 strikes to Parker Johnson, who bats .309 this year. Indiana Wesleyan with 5 young men batting better than .300 this season. Johnson's one of them, but he's down 1-2 here. Pettit looks at the runner at second before dealing home. A slapper to the left side. Taylor could turn 2. Lane to second. Ruschi on to first. Taggart's got to pick it, and he did for a 6-4-3 double play. The Indiana Wesleyan first base coach disagrees, and we head to the bottom of the 6th with the game tied at 3. Taylor will look to regain the lead. Coming up to bat here as we head to the home half of the 6th.
The Taylor University campus store, with their innovative textbook butler delivery service and name brand Taylor apparel and gifts, supports the Trojans year-round. The campus store, powered by Tree of Life Books, is a proud corporate partner of TU Athletics. It's easy to find something to show off someone's TU pride with 2 campus locations, one in the Dome and one in the campus center near the food court. The store is also open 24/7 at TaylorCampusStore.com.
Taylor trying to go back in front with Lawson, Lane, and Calbaugh, the ones coming up for the Trojans here in the bottom of the 6th, with our game even at 3. Young, the starter, still on the hill here for Indiana Wesleyan. First one, a breaking ball low for ball 1 to Brett Lawson. Lawson 1 for 2 today. An off-speed one that's upstairs for ball number 2. Brett struck out looking his first time up, then singled and scored back in the 4th. With the warmer temperatures on Monday, he and teammate Drake Gong were about to go out and do a little fishing on Monday. Brett fouls the 3rd one off to make it 2-1. They were kind enough to offer an extension to me. Drake said, "I've got an extra pole if you want to go." The problem was, I was just walking home from work and they didn't have an extra pair of boots for me, so I had to pass, sadly. 4th one lifted out of here, foul by Lawson, 2-2. Maybe some other time before school lets out, we'll hop on the boat with Brett and Drake and some of the other fishing-loving teammates, and maybe we'll take the camera with us as well and document it. 2-2 to Lawson as he leads off the 6th. Young missing low and away, bouncing away for ball 3. Taylor has gotten the leadoff man on base once today. That was the Brett single back in the 4th when they scored 2 runs to regain a 3-1 lead. They'd love to duplicate that here to break our 3 all-time. Payoff pitch from Young to Lawson. Inside, Brett backs out of the way for ball 4, and he's on for the 2nd time today. That's the first free pass allowed by Young this afternoon. Josh Lane will step in here. 3rd time we've seen Lane today. He's reached base safely both times he's been to the plate this afternoon. Josh 1 for 2 today as he faces Young for the 3rd time. A fastball, high bouncer to Eater at first, steps down there, throws a wild one down to second. Lawson gets up, signals that he's safe. The home field umpire agrees. As Johnson, the shortstop, came in to cover second. One that bounced in hard off the turf, and thankfully for Eater, Johnson was able to snag the bouncing ball to keep Lawson there at second. So Taylor's aggressive approach hurts them a little bit here. 1 out for Ben Calbaugh, the catcher. First pitch swinging, hard hit to the left side, snagged by the 3rd baseman Gooden across the diamond for out number 2. That keeps Lawson, the go-ahead runner, standing there at second base. A well-hit ball there by Calbaugh, but right to the second baseman, or the 3rd baseman. First time Ben's been retired today. He's 1 for 2. And that'll be Christian McGill, the Taylor left fielder, with dirt all over the front of that uniform and his pants, trying to extend our bottom of the 6th and drive Lawson home from second to give Taylor the lead back. Fastball above the letters, ball 1. Christian 2 for 2 today. He's the only man to yet to be retired in the Taylor order here this afternoon. Along with Foster, who laid a sacrifice bunt down the first time. Bouncer up the middle. Johnson will charge from short. Fields in the glove, off to first. And Eater hauls it in on the throw off to his right. A leadoff walk for Lawson. He's left stranded out there on the bases. And we're through 6 in our game, tied at 3 here on the Trojans Sports Network.
Your heart? Well, your heart is everything to you and your body. And its favorite place to be is home. Marion General Hospital has been named a nationally accredited chest pain center, which is the highest accomplishment in cardiovascular care. We are proud to provide our community with a team of cardiac experts throughout MGH. From our ambulance and emergency room to our cardiovascular departments, in partnership with our experienced local cardiologists and interventional cardiologists from St. Vincent's Medical Group. The same level of cardiovascular expertise in bigger cities at larger hospitals is available right here. Everyone has their expertise. At MGH, our expertise is your heart, bringing the best in the nation home to you. Your heart is in the right place at MGH.
We're through 6, and we're tied at 3. 3 runs, 4 hits, and an error for Indiana Wesleyan. Taylor with 3 runs on 7 hits, and they have committed an error as well. First full inning of work for Justin Pettit. He faces the catcher Brady West, who leads off the top of the 7th for Indiana Wesleyan. Pettit high and in for a ball. It'll be West, English, and Eater, 2, 3, and 4 for the Wildcats here in the 7th as they look for their first lead here of the afternoon. Pettit's fastball low with the sun trying to creep out from behind the gray clouds overhead. 2-0 to the catcher West. 0 for 2 today as he bats for the 4th time. Walked and scored in the 3rd to tie our game at 1. 3rd one from Pettit. West goes after it and fouls it opposite way. Out of play for a strike. 2-1. With Taylor back in the shift once again on the right side of the infield. So between 2nd and 1st, it goes Ruschi, Lawson, and Taggart, with Lane the only man on the left side of the infield for Taylor defensively against the lefty West. The 2-1 from Pettit. A curveball pulled into the shift, right to Taggart at first. He'll underhand it to the covering Pettit, 3-1 on the putout. And there's out number 1 here in the 7th for the visitors from Indiana Wesleyan. One out, base is empty. Sun again trying to peek out from behind the clouds overhead for Ethan English, left fielder. Wind picking up to the strongest it's been all day. Pettit's fastball low and away for ball 1, bouncing all the way to the backstop. English batting for the 4th time. He's 0 for 2. With a walk sandwiched in between 2 putouts in the 3rd inning. Second offering from Pettit. Gets the inside corner to the crowding English for a strike. 1-1. English, a team leading .369 batting average with that wind ripping and whipping at his red jersey and gray pants. Bouncer to the left side. Lane will scoop it off the turf, set his feet, fire to first for out number 2. As Taylor had a little bit of a shift put on there as well against the right-handed English. 2 up and 2 down here in the 7th for Indiana Wesleyan and Caleb Eater. Base is clear for Eater as he tries to extend things here in the 7th with the shift put on here by the Trojans to the left side of the infield against the pull-hitting Eater. The righty Pettit delivers to the righty Eater, away for a ball. So Ruschi moves to his right, our left, by about maybe 10 steps or so to our left of second base. Swings and misses. Eater fans at 1 low and away. Knew he didn't want to swing at it when it was too late, and it's 1-1. Eater an RBI single in the 3rd to tie our game at 1, his only hit of the day. Pettit goes to the outside corner again. Eater watches it sail in for strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes on a windy, low 40s day on a Good Friday here in Upland, Indiana. The 1-2 from Pettit. Eater stays alive, foul tipping it off the glove of Calbaugh, and it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Still 1-2 as Eater stands almost straight up and down there in the batter's box. High and in for ball 2 from Pettit. Pettit readies, the wind picks up, 2-2, just missing away. Eater thought about it long and hard, but now the count goes full. Full count with 2 outs and the base is empty for Eater, the first baseman. He'll swing and miss at 1 low. Calbaugh picks it up. Eater hustling down to first. A toss down there, and that's a 1-2-3 7th. Pettit pumped as we head to the home half of the 7th. We'll stretch it out. Game tied at 3 between Taylor and Indiana Wesleyan on the Trojan Sports Network.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
So after we stretch things out, we're in the bottom of the 7th for the number 9 batter, Jonathan Foster. With John Young still on the hill here for Indiana Wesleyan. Still got a lot of pop in that right arm for Young, but he misses away to Foster for a ball. Jonathan batting for the second time today. Lay down a sacrifice bunt his only time up today. He'll go after this one, but he'll tail it foul off to the right. It's 1-1. Brian Fields pinch hit for Foster back there in the first when the Trojans had 2 on and 2 out. Game deadlocked at 3 with Taylor batting here in the home half of the 7th. Foster checks his swing. He goes around for strike 2. Ball and 2 strikes to Foster. Bats .273 this season as a sophomore. Last year was used predominantly as a courtesy runner and a pinch runner. 1-2 from Young. Foster goes after it and will slice this one out of play to the right. 1-2 as Foster has come in and seen a lot of time in right field this year for the Trojans. He leads off the bottom of the 7th, down in the count, 1-2. Young shakes off the sign. The second one likes the third one. Another 1-2 comes home that Foster will pop a mile into the air. The wind's going to keep this one in towards the infield. Foul territory. Gooden almost had the ball pop out of his glove. He makes a one-handed catch with that left-handed glove for out number 1 in foul territory near the batter's box. That'll take us back to the top of the order. And Nick Ruschi, who's in search of his first hit here today. Wind blows the right field foul pole for the lefty Ruschi. Young's first pitch is low, ball 1. Ruschi 0 for 3, rolling over on 3 ground balls to the right side of the infield. Now he goes ahead 2-0. Ruschi, the second best batting average for the Trojans. He and classmate TJ Bass, the 2 freshmen, have been in the top 2 spots all season as Young quickly works here, and he quickly falls behind 3-0 as that one left upstairs. As play opens today, Ruschi a point behind Bass for the team's best batting average, 322 to 321. Ruschi had 3-0. Now it's 3-1 as Young throws one to get him over. 3-3 our score. Taylor batting here in the bottom of the 7th. As they come into today a half game back of Indiana Wesleyan for 3rd in the league standings. Who is tied for Marion. 5th one in there for strike number 2. Full count to Ruschi with the bases clear. And nobody on as now activity starts in the bullpen for Indiana Wesleyan. Payoff pitch to Ruschi in a righty on lefty matchup. This one a slapper to the left side to Johnson at short. A slow grounder over to first for out number 2. Ruschi now 0 for 4 today on 4 groundouts. This one for the first time to the left side of the infield. And it'll be the first baseman Nathan Taggart, who's also in search of his first hit of the afternoon. Trying to extend the bottom of the 7th with our game tied at 3. This one up high for ball 1. Taggart a ground out to the first baseman, Eater. Popped out to the shortstop, Johnson, and flew out to the center fielder, Thixton, is 3 times up today. Second one, right at the letters for strike 1 to make it 1-1. 7 hits for the Trojans today, none for extra bases. The 1-1. Inside, a backdoor breaking ball that Taggart will take for strike 2 on the inside corner. Now time is called as a ball escapes from the clutches of the Indiana Wesleyan bullpen. Brady West, the catcher, hustles after it and flings it back towards his teammates in the bullpen down the right field line. Taggart down on the count, 1-2. Game tied at 3 here in the 7th. A fastball that Taggart will get underneath and send it foul. Still a ball and 2 strikes as Young closes in on 100 pitches thrown today. Trying to close out his 7th inning of work on the hill here for Indiana Wesleyan. The pitch to Taggart. Ground ball to the left side, right to Johnson at short. He'll field it easily and toss over to first, and another 1-2-3 inning here for Young. Keeps our score tied at 3 after 7 on the Trojans Sports Network.
Your heart, well, your heart is everything to you and your body, and its favorite place to be is home. Marion General Hospital has been named a nationally accredited chest pain center, which is the highest accomplishment in cardiovascular care. We are proud to provide our community with a team of cardiac experts throughout MGH. From our ambulance and emergency room to our cardiovascular departments in partnership with our experienced local cardiologists and interventional cardiologists from St. Vincent's Medical Group. The same level of cardiovascular expertise in bigger cities at larger hospitals is available right here. Everyone has their expertise. At MGH, our expertise is your heart, bringing the best in the nation home to you. Your heart is in the right place at MGH.
Top of the 8th, with Ty Thixton leading it off for Indiana Wesleyan. First one from Pettit was a strike. The second one, with Thixton showing bunt, a curveball from Pettit makes it 0-2. 3-3 our score. Indiana Wesleyan scored our last 2 runs of the game to tie our game at 3, back there in the 6th. They have yet to lead today, and Thixton is still without a hit. He's down 0-2, and the third one pops off the top of the glove for Calball. It's 1-2. Thixton walked his first time up. He's been retired his last 2 times at the plate. And he'll stay alive for another pitch, golfing this one out of play off to our right. Pettit, the third pitcher used overall today by the Trojans, came in with 1 out back in the 6th to relieve Huseman. Thixton 0 for 2 today with the walk. Down to the count, 1-2. Now it's 2-2 as Pettit misses away. Taylor opens up the day in 5th place in the Crossroads League standings, but just a half game back of the 3rd place tie between their opponent today, Indiana Wesleyan, and Marion, who are tied for 4th. 2-2, Thixton towards right field. Foster sprinting back. He slips on the grass and this will land on the warning track, and Thixton already at second base. He'll be digging for third. A relay throw from Rouchier, high one that Lawson will not be able to apply a tag on. Second triple of the day here for Indiana Wesleyan. Both have been to right field as Foster slips on the wet grass in deep right field, And the go-ahead run stands 90 feet away thanks to a leadoff triple here by Thixton of Indiana Wesleyan. If you're with us for our pregame show, you heard Taylor head coach Kyle Gould mention that you might see he mentioned more base runners and infielders slipping on the turf, but here it's the right fielder for Taylor, Jonathan Foster, slipping on the grass. And a leadoff triple on the first hit of the day by Thixton. He's the go-ahead run 90 feet away. For the DH, Tanner Killian, and with a runner at third, Taylor will not put the shift on here against the lefty Killian. Pettit's curveball up high for ball one. Killian 0 for 2, reaching base on a fielder's choice in the second. As Pettit steps off the mound as the wind picks up once again. Make this Gooden, excuse me. Gooden ahead 1-0. Now 2-0 for the lefty. Gooden walked and scored his last time up on the triple by the man waiting on deck and Killian. Infield plays in, 2-0. Opposite way down the left field line, and this one will land foul by a foot, thankfully for the Trojans, as McGill was playing in, anticipating a pull swing from the lefty Gooden. So it's the third baseman, Lucas Gooden, looking for his first hit of the day. He's ahead in the count, 2-1. The Taylor infield plays in with a runner at third and nobody out here in the eighth. Pettit comes low and in for ball three. 6 walks issued by the Trojans today. None from Pettit so far, but he's one pitch out of the zone from adding to that walk total by Taylor pitchers today. The 3-1. Opposite way the swing goes, and this one will tail out of here foul. To make the count full, 3-2 to the third baseman, Lucas Gooden. Gooden 0 for 2 has reached base safely twice. The payoff from Pettit. A groove one to the gap, and this will give Indiana Wesleyan the lead as Gooden on for the third time today, his first hit. And it's a 4-3 Indiana Wesleyan lead. They've scored 3 unanswered, and they take their first lead of the day by 1. Third hit allowed by Pettit in his inning plus of work. And now here's Killian, the DH. A triple by Thixton to lead the inning off. Then Gooden drives him in with a single to the gap in right center. Pettit taking his time, then he'll step off the mound. Out of the 6 hits for Indiana Wesleyan today, 2 have been for extra bases. This one hit a mile in the air to center. Whitman went back, now he comes forward, still coming forward. Reaches up and makes the catch for out number 1. I was going to say before the out, Killian had the only other extra base hit before the leadoff triple from Thixton. Killian with a triple of his own, but flies out here, he's 1 for 4. And now here's the masked man and Stephen Busby, the right fielder, with a head sock on, protecting himself from this piercing wind that Busby's had to deal with out in right field all day. 1 out, 1 on. Shows bunt up the first base side. Tagger will field it. Reaching out, Busby dives, and Tagger tags him out for the second out of the inning. That will move Gooden down to second base. So 2 outs and a runner in scoring position for the second baseman, Nick Coy, here in the top of the 8th. As Indiana Wesleyan has taken their first lead of the day, they're up 4-3. Wind at its strongest it's been all day right now. Pettit's get a ground ball left side on a breaking ball. Lane fields it short, on to Taggart at first. That will end the top of the 8th, but a leadoff triple from Thixton. Gooden drives him in with a single. And Indiana Wesleyan leads Taylor 4-3. First time the Wildcats have led all day. We'll see what Taylor can cook up here in the bottom of the 8th on the Trojans Sports Network.
It's true. Many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than thinking about retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, we agree, and we'd like to help. Your local Edward Jones financial advisors, Ryan Jones, Mark Sieglin, and Rob Sisson, can help you get started today. They are proud corporate partners of Taylor University Athletics. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
TJ Bass leads it off for Taylor here in the bottom of the 8th as the Trojans trail for the first time today. And Young's breaking ball drops in for strike 1. It'll be Bass, Whitman, and Lawson for Taylor coming up here in the 8th as they go against the starter John Young. Second one to Bass, bounces in the opposite batter's box. To the backstop it goes for ball number 1. A 1-run, 2-hit, no error, and 1 left on top of the 8th has given Indiana Wesleyan a 1-run advantage. And the 1-2 lifted out of here, foul by Bass, off to our left. TJ 2 for 3 today as the Trojans DH. Singles up the middle his last 2 times up, and Taylor could really use the leadoff man on here with opportunities dwindling away as they trail for the first time this afternoon. 1-2 from Young. Bass will fight it off to the netting behind and right in front of us behind him, and it stays at 1-2. That was the 100th pitch thrown by Young today, as now there still just one righty warming up for Indiana Wesleyan in the bullpen, but Young has been effective here all day. Taylor has scattered 7 hits, none for extra bases so far this afternoon. Another 1-2 to Bass. He goes down swinging as Young collects his 4th strikeout of the day and his first one since way earlier in the contest. 1 out for Taylor here in the bottom of the 8th. Let's see here. When was that last strikeout? The last strikeout by Young came to end the 3rd inning, and he gets a strikeout here to start things off in the 8th. Comes into Whitman for ball 1. If you're wondering, on the year, Young with 2 complete games out of his 10 appearances previous to this one. A ball to Wyatt Whitman, the Taylor center fielder, now 2 of them as that one left off speed upstairs. Wyatt 0 for 3 on the afternoon, hitting to a 6-4-3 double play to end the threat for Taylor in the 5th. The 3rd one missing at the knees by Young, and that puts Whitman ahead 3-0. Lawson to follow Whitman with Taylor down 1 here at the bottom of the 8th. 4th one off the glove and in there for a strike off the glove of West as it caught the top part of the strike zone. Taylor head coach Kyle Gould wondering why that was called a strike when the ball ticked off the glove of West behind the plate. Here's the 3-1 to Whitman from Young, and Wyatt fouls it off, and the count now full 3-2. Bases clear, 1 out for Taylor here in the 8th. They trail for the first time today, down 4-3. After Indiana Wesleyan took their first lead of the day a half inning ago. Payoff pitch to Whitman.
He'll groove it to center, but will the wind kill it before anyone can get to it? Snow cone catch, though, ever by the shortstop Johnson as he ran all the way over from short, and he makes the catch in shallow center field on the end of his glove for out number 2. As Taylor looked to be off the bat there from Whitman, might have been a beneficiary of the strong wind today, but no dice this time. So it'll be Brett Lawson trying to keep this bottom of the 8th alive. As after Young allowed a leadoff walk in the 6th, he has retired now 8 men in a row. First one, Lawson will end that here. That one sails and curls and slices to center field. A 2-out single for the Trojans. Puts the tying runner on, and Taylor will pinch run for Lawson, bringing in Kyle Kelsheimer to run at first. Here's Josh Lane, the shortstop. Second hit of the day for Brett, 8th one of the afternoon for the Trojans. Kelsheimer, an expert base stealer. 14 for 17 this year, and now pitching coach Chris Holtzleiter comes out to talk things over with his starter John Young. First time we've seen Holtzleiter here today. And now Lane will change bats with Christian McGill before facing Young for the 4th time today. Taylor down 4-3. They scored 1 run in the 2nd. Indiana Wesleyan tied it in the 3rd. Taylor pushed 2 home across in the 4th. Indiana Wesleyan tied it with 2 in the 6th. They added 1 run here in the top of the 8th to go on top 4-3. Taylor with 8 hits today against Young. None have gone for extra bases, whereas Indiana Wesleyan has 2 of their 6 hits have both gone for triples. And both those men have come around to score. 2 outs and the tying run on over at first in the form of Kyle Kelsheimer after a 2-out single to center by Lawson. That started up to dead center field, then blew almost all the way to the gap with that strong wind screaming out towards the right field foul pole. Kelsheimer, a big lead over first. They might pick him off over at first base. He dives back in under the tag of Eder as Kelsheimer took a suicide lead off of first. A humongous lead for Kelsheimer over there at first base. Almost got him caught. A safer lead this time. Back over to first, and he calmly steps on the bag here as Young checks on him. Lane 1 for 3, but he's reached base safely twice and has scored both times. Kelsheimer dancing off of first. He'll stay. Lane trying to bunt his way on, and this one will ricochet foul. Lane singled and scored in the 2nd. Reached on the fielding error by Gooden in the 4th. Came around to score then as well. Then grounded out to Eder back in the 6th. Before the Lawson single, Young had retired 8 men in a row, with Lane being the first one of that 8. Kelsheimer running for Lawson at first, dances off of that bag. And the second one to Lane here at the plate, missing low and away, ball 1, 1-1. Kelsheimer with excellent speed over there at first. He's the tying run with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. As Lane steps out of the box, adjusting his hair before putting his helmet back on as one of his teammates delivers some fresh baseballs to our home plate umpire. Lane finding the wind here as well. Temperature in the low 40s. Feels like it was February out here today. Kelsheimer, big lead. Now he's caught. They throw down to first. Will he beat the throw down to second? He will, as Kelsheimer gets greedy and takes second. It almost got him caught the first time he tried it. This time it works. And now a runner, the tying run, is in scoring position as Kelsheimer swipes second. 3rd stolen base and has many tries for the Trojans today. And if Lane can get one to the outfield, they would probably wave Kelsheimer home from second. Lane will put a charge into this one, but pulls it too far foul. A ball and 2 strikes to Lane, with 2 outs and the tying run over at first. Down 4-3 here in the 8th, as Taylor trails for the first time here this afternoon. Young peers in. Pitch 111 upcoming here. And Lane will slap at it and send it foul off the end of the bat to the right. Count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kelsheimer the tying run over there at second base. Taylor down 4-3 here in the bottom of the 8th against cross-county foe Indiana Wesleyan. Young with his right arm dangling in the stretch now comes set at the stomach. They get Lane to pop it up down the right field line. Playing in was Busby, still coming in. He'll jump and make a catch on his toes. And the Trojans leave the tying runner stranded at second base. We head to the 9th. Taylor still down 4-3 here on the Trojans Sports Network.
Greek's Pizzeria in Upland opened its doors in December of 2017. Over the years, there have been more than 140 Greeks opened across the country, with 24 Indiana locations. When it comes to pizza, Greeks offers customers the option to create their own pizza or to try one of Greek's specialized pizzas. Greeks uses fresh, homemade, hand-tossed dough, Greek's Italian sauce, select blended cheeses, gourmet toppings, and the same method of preparation since the first restaurant opened in 1969. The kitchen can also whip up a sandwich served on fresh French-style bread, or it can put that sandwich into a pizza shell wrap. Customers can also add breadsticks or French-style bread as a side item. Greeks also offers a selection of salads and assorted dressings as well. Greeks is located just off Main Street in Upland and is a proud supporter of Taylor University Athletics. Greek's Pizzeria. It's our taste.
Top of the order up here for Indiana Wesleyan as they face Justin Pettit, who starts his 3rd full inning of work. He gets the shortstop Parker Johnson to swing and miss to start our top of the 9th off. Indiana Wesleyan out front, 4-3, going ahead with a run back there in the top of the 8th. Second one from Pettit. Slapper left side to Lawson at third. A backhand stop across the diamond to Taggart for out number 1 here in the 9th. 0 for 5 is the day here for Parker Johnson, batting out of the leadoff spot for Indiana Wesleyan. They've got the only 2 extra base hits of our game out of the 14 knocks between the two teams. The Trojans go back into the shift with the lefty Brady West stepping up to the plate, I should say. So Lawson, the third baseman, moves over to split the difference between Taggart and Rusci over there on the right side of the infield. 0 for 3 is West today as he bats for the 5th time. First one from Pettit at the letters for a strike. Half of the 4 runs today for Indiana Wesleyan have come on walks. The one that tied the game at 1 in the 3rd, and one of the 2 runs that tied the game back in the 6th. A strike to West with the bases clear. Taylor in the shift, and Pettit comes low and into the big lefty West, bouncing it in for ball 1. West walked and scored in the 3rd. That tied our game at 1. So then he has flown out to Whitman twice and grounded out to Taggart at first. 4-3, the Indiana Wesleyan lead. After they split a doubleheader at Grace on Tuesday, fell 3-1 in the opener before winning in 7 innings, 11-1 in the nightcap. 1-1 from Pettit. West will pop it into the air to our left, and that one will sail out of here foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the catcher West with nobody on and 1 out here in the 8th inning, or top of the 9th, excuse me, with Indiana Wesleyan out front 4-3. The 1-2. Away, off speed, makes it 2-2 to the lefty West. West batting .281 this year, 14 doubles, 2nd on the team, behind Eater, who has a team best 15, and the third most home runs with 9. Wind would favor the big lefty West, blowing out towards the right field corner. but he can't get one to turn on here, and then misses away on a curveball. It's 3-2. One out, nobody on for West here at the top of the ninth. With Indiana Wesleyan out front by one, 4-3, taking their first lead of the day and ending a go in the eighth. Payoff from Pettit. Up high, it'll bounce to the backstop. Now West will sprint down to first after leisurely jogging on his first walk of the day. It'll only get to first base here. A one-out walk. He'll be excused for the courtesy runner. This will be Bryce Lenz, and Taylor will get out of the shift with one out and one on here in the ninth. Trailing by one are the Trojans. So it was Lenz who came in to run back in the third, came in to score then as well. That's the seventh walk allowed by a Trojan pitcher today. Two have already come back to hurt him as they trail 4-3. Pettit drops the first one in for a called strike to Ethan English, the left fielder. English 0 for 3. This is his fifth plate appearance of the afternoon. Second one from Pettit. Runner stays at first. Backdoor curveball makes it 0-2. English walked in the third. That was his only time reaching base safely today. One run advantage for Indiana Wesleyan as they bat here at the top of the ninth. Pettit attempt to first. Getting back in time is Lenz. Lenz 9 for 11 on stolen base tries this year. Tops for Indiana Wesleyan in that category. English down in the count, 0-2. Pettit sets. Delivers and a swing and a miss. Heading down to second base will be Lenz. A good throw from Calbon. Ruschi tags Lenz out on the stomach for a strike him out, throw him out, and Taylor keeps the deficit at one as we head to the bottom of the ninth, down 4-3. The Trojans will bring up the back third of the order. Calbon, McGill, and Foster down 4-3 to Indiana Wesleyan. We head to the ninth after this.
Ivanhoe's has been serving Taylor students since 1965, when Ivan and Carol Slane purchased the restaurant. Located on Main Street, Ivanhoe's is less than a mile from the Taylor campus and is open 7 days a week. The menu features choices for lunch, dinner, as well as 100 different milkshakes and sundaes. Customers can find other dessert items as well. The staff is proud to support Taylor University and appreciates the support of Ivanhoe's through the years.
Changes all over the board for both teams as Tanner Killian, the DH, now moves to the mound. He's the IWU leader in saves with 4 on the year as he tries to slam the door against the Trojans here in the bottom of the ninth. Andrew Kennedy will make his first appearance of the day as he pinch hits for the catcher Ben Calbon to lead off the bottom of the ninth. Killian comes in with a backdoor breaking ball for a strike at the knees to Kennedy. And the bottom of the ninth is underway with Taylor trailing 4-3. Killian replaces the starter Jiang Young, who went 8 innings, allowed 3 runs and 8 hits. Second one to Kennedy. A backdoor breaking ball again makes it 0-2. As Killian started that one at the hip of Kennedy and it dropped in at the knees. Killian, a 2.25 ERA, appearing in just his 7th game of the year, but his previous 6 outings has gathered 4 saves. And he gets Kennedy to swing and miss at a fastball in the outside corner. Trojans have 1 out on the board here to start off the 9th. And here's Christian McGill, who has one of those 8 hits for the Trojans today. Taylor scoreless since putting 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th to take a 3-1 lead. They trail 4-3 right now. And Killian will drop a breaking ball into the outside corner. McGill takes it for a strike. Christian 2 for 3 today. The 0-1 from Killian. Ground ball up the middle, and that'll bounce on through. McGill 3 for 4 on the day, and the tying run on here in the bottom of the 9th with 1 out. And here's Connor Crawford pinch hitting for Foster, the right fielder. And nope, Connor Crawford will go back to the dugout. Now Taylor head coach Kyle Gould will call time before Jonathan Foster comes up to bat. So the 3, McGill and Foster and Gould will talk things over, all crowding closely around the head coach in his 15th season, Kyle Gould. So Connor Crawford was initially looking like he was going to pinch hit for Foster, and now West will call time and chat things up with Killian. A 1-out single up the middle by McGill. He's 3 for 4 on the day. He represents the tying run over there at first. With 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th, we'll see what Jonathan Foster can do for the Trojans. Foster 0 for 1, popped out in foul territory his last time up, dropped a sacrifice bunt down in the 4th in his first plate appearance of the day. A 1-out single for McGill. He's over at first. Taylor down by 1 in the 9th. A darting look by Killian sends McGill back stepping to first. Killian out of the stretch. Foster squares a bunt. Right back up the middle. Killian fields, throws to second. Off target. It's going to bounce into center field. And McGill digging for third. The throw will not come in from the center fielder, Thickton. And an error, and now potentially a lower body injury, it looks like, maybe, for one of the middle infielders here for Indiana Wesleyan, the new second baseman in Turner, as he got slid into at second base on the off-target throw from the pitcher, Killian. And now the tying run stands 90 feet away with 1 out, and the winning run for Taylor stands over there at first base. As it is Austin Turner, the new second baseman in here for Indiana Wesleyan, replacing Coy. Back to the top of the order we go for Taylor, with the Trojans down 4-3, and it looks like Turner will have to come out here. And Noah Baumann will have to come in to spell the backup second baseman here for Indiana Wesleyan. So Turner got slid into. We hope for the best. The good news is he's walking off under his own power. But here comes Noah Baumann, the freshman out of Hamilton, Ohio, to take over at second base. Nick Rucci steps into the batter's box. McGill, the tying run, 90 feet away at third with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. And Jonathan Foster, the man who laid a sacrifice bunt attempt down. On a sac fielder's choice try, he's safe at first. 1 out for Nick Rucci, who's 0 for 4 on the afternoon. First one from Killian. Curveball up high for a ball. McGill with a 1-out single now stands at third. Foster at first. Taylor down by 1 in the 9th. Second one, low and into Rushi. Now he goes ahead 2-0. Young, the starter, was great through 8 innings. Killian trying to come in and slam the door here. First and third, one out in the ninth. Taylor down 4-3. Down the middle, belt high for a strike, makes it 2-1 to Rushi. The righty Killian against the left-handed bat of Nick Rushi. He's been one of the best bats all season. The freshman 0 for 4 on the day. The 2-1 home. Rushi opposite way, a liner will sail out of here foul. Rushi choking up the count even at 2-2 with 1 out. The tying run at third, the winning run at first. And Killian looks Foster back to the first base bag. Wind screaming out towards the right field foul pole. McGill dancing largely off of third. Inside is going to bounce away from West. McGill digging from third. It'll roll all the way to the backstop. McGill dives in head first. And we're tied at 4 here in the bottom of the ninth. And the winning run stands at second base in the form of Jonathan Foster after the wild pitch from Killian gets away from the catcher West. And now Rushi has the count full 3-2. Again, Killian pitching in just his 7th game of the year. He's got 4 saves in the previous 6. But our game will go to extras here with the game tied at 4, and the winning run stands at second base. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Rushi, and Killian steps off the mound to gather his thoughts and his hopes. Excellent speed by Foster if Rushi can get this one to the outfield. Big lead for Foster at second. Bouncer, Killian snags. They'll make the easy toss to first. That puts the winning run 90 feet away with 2 outs for the senior, Nathan Taggart. Taggart 0 for 4 today. Rushi with a ground out there, now 0 for 5. But the winning run and Jonathan Foster stands down there at third, 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, as Taylor has come back to tie our game at 4. Foster a big lead over there at third. Killian out of the stretch. Taggart will swing and miss at a breaking ball away for a strike. Nine hits for Taylor on the day. Their 10th hit would end it here. A strike from Killian to Taggart, who deals out of the stretch. Second one, missing away on a breaking ball, 1-1. Narrowly close to making it 0-2 to the All-American Nathan Taggart. Foster, the winning run, stands down there at third. 4-4 our game here in the bottom of the ninth. The big lead as Foster dances off of third again. Bouncing in low. Ball 2 to Taggart. Two balls and a strike to Taggart. Foster at third. Low and away for ball 3 with TJ Bass waiting on deck. 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. Taylor has tied the game at 4 thanks to a wild 2 miscues by Killian. A throwing error to put the tying run at third, and then a wild pitch scored McGill from third base. 3 balls and a strike to Taggart. Curveball, and he'll foul it off to the parking lot. Now the count goes full. Winning run is Jonathan Foster standing down there at third base. 2 outs here in the ninth. The game dead even at 4. Righty-on-righty matchup between Killian and Taggart. The left arm dangling for Killian. Now he comes set. Looks at Foster at third. Looks home and delivers. Swing and a miss, and Taggart goes down swinging. We head to extras with our game tied at 4 here on the Trojans Sports Network.
Greek's Pizzeria in Upland opened its doors in December of 2017. Over the years, there have been more than 140 Greeks opened across the country, with 24 Indiana locations. When it comes to pizza, Greeks offers customers the option to create their own pizza or to try one of Greek's specialized pizzas. Greeks uses fresh, homemade, hand-tossed dough, Greek's Italian sauce, select blended cheeses, gourmet toppings, and the same method of preparation since the first restaurant opened in 1969. The kitchen can also whip up a sandwich served on fresh French-style bread, or can put that sandwich into a pizza shell wrap. Customers can also add breadsticks or French-style bread as a side item. Greeks also offers a selection of salads and assorted dressings as well. Greeks is located just off Main Street in Upland and is a proud supporter of Taylor University Athletics. Greeks Pizzeria. It's our taste.
Caleb Eater leads off the top of the 10th here for Indiana Wesleyan after Taylor was able to tie our game at 4 in the bottom of the 9th. It'll be Eater, Thixton, and Gooden coming up for the Wildcats here against Justin Pettit. 2 pitches from Pettit, both out of the zone upstairs. It's 2-0. Eater 1 for 4 today with an RBI single to tie the game at 1 in the 3rd. He has struck out the 3 other times he's been to the plate. Ahead 2-0 here, and now ahead 3-0. First game all season for both teams that have gone to the 10th. As Taylor plays game 45, Indiana Wesleyan plays game 44. 3-0 below the knees, and a leadoff walk puts Caleb Eater on, with the game tied at 4 here in the 10th. Second walk allowed by Pettit, the 8th one allowed by Taylor pitching today. And the batter will be Ty Thixton, the center fielder. Thixton shows a bunt. Up the first base side, nicely done. Taggart will field, reaches out and tags out Thixton going up the first base side. The sacrifice works, moving Eater down to second base with 1 out here in the 10th. It'll be the third baseman, Lucas Gooden. An intentional walk to bring the double play back into effect and puts Gooden down there at second or first base. So that'll be the 9th walk allowed by Trojan pitching today. And now a pinch hitter looks to be coming up here for Indiana Wesleyan as their 5th-year head coach Rich Benjamin walks down the third base line. It'll just be Killian re-entering here to bat out of the 7th spot. Killian has one of the 2 extra base hits for Indiana Wesleyan today, a triple, an RBI triple back in the 6th. He would later come around to score the tying run and knot the game at 3. 2 on here and 1 out. For the pitcher, Killian checks his swing as that one low and away for ball 1. New catcher behind the plate, replacing Ben Cowbaugh as for the Trojans is Caleb Fox. Pettit in his 4th full inning of work. They'll move McGill in from left field. Same thing for Whitman in center. 2 on, 1 out in the 10th. Another one low from Pettit, 2-0. You've got Eater at second, Gooden at first. 4-4 game in the top of the 10th. Killian's RBI triple and run scored in the 6th, his only time reaching base safely today. Head of the right arm dangles as he peers in out of the stretch. Now comes set at the chin. The 2-0 home. Popped into the air to the infield. Rushi ranging wide to his left. Now comes into the infield and makes the catch for out number 2 here in the 10th with 2 still on. Two outs and 2 on for Stephen Busby, the right fielder, as we play in the top of the 10th, tied at 4. Busby 1 for 2 this afternoon. Open righty stance against the right-handed throwing Pettit. First pitch comes home, and a curveball dropped in at the knees for a strike. Taylor moving their infield around a little bit as Lawson plays close to the third base line. Lane shifts over a little bit as well. Rushi playing back a couple steps. Now creeps forward out of the outfield grass. Little slapper to the gap on a curveball. To the deep right field gap. It'll get over everybody's heads and land on the warning track. Eater will score easily coming around as well. It'll be a 2 RBI double here for Indiana Wesleyan as Busby deals his second hit of the day, and Indiana Wesleyan back on top 6-4. Their first lead bigger than one here this afternoon as Busby comes in with a clutch 2 RBI double, scoring Eater and Gooden. Three of the 6 runs scored by Indiana Wesleyan today have been driven in by Busby, the right fielder, out of the 8 spot. Just rode that hard wind out there to the gap in right center field. Wasn't really swung very hard, but the wind did the rest and carries it all the way to the warning track. So Busby at second with 2 outs here in the 10th, and Taylor finds themselves down by 2. And a strike to the new second baseman in Bauman. Came in for an injury back in the bottom of the 9th. Pettit drops in another curveball. It's 0-2 to Bauman, who's just 4 for 40 this year, but one of those 4 hits has been a triple. And he's a lefty with the wind helping him out here, screaming out towards the right field foul pole. A 2-run advantage for Indiana Wesleyan. They're on top 6-4 here with 2 outs in the top of the 10th. 0-2 slapped opposite way, still 0-2. With Bauman batting for the first time today. Trojans will shift Whitman a couple steps over to his right, our left in center field. 0-2 from Pettit to Bauman as Pettit takes a deep breath, low and in. Bauman watches it sail away for ball 1. An RBI double from Busby after a leadoff walk. An intentional walk to Gooden put him on as well as Taylor tried to get the double play back, wanted to get the double play back into effect. That's now 4 of the 6 runs scored by Indiana Wesleyan today have gone on via walks. 5th one low and away to make it 2-2 to Bauman as he bats for the first time today. Bauman, the freshman out of Hamilton, Ohio. He's got Busby at second after the 2 RBI double to break our 4 all-time. Pettit sets, rocks, and delivers. Bouncer up the middle. Lane will charge. And off to first. Taggart had to move to his right to make the play, but he does. But 2 runs come home for Indiana Wesleyan here in the top of the 10th, and Taylor knows what they need to do. Down 6-4 heading to the bottom of the 10th. They'll bring up Bass, Whitman, and Lawson down 6-4 on the Trojans Sports Network.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
TJ Bass leads off the bottom of the 10th. The backdoor curveball from Killian is in there for a strike. As he pitches trying to get the win, with 2 runs coming home in the top of the 10th for Indiana Wesleyan to lead 6-4. Second one, Bass swings, pops it into the air, but that one will get out of here foul. It's 0-2. Bass 2 for 4 today. Taylor was able to get 2 on at first and third. Back there in the ninth. One came home on a wild pitch to tie it at 4. The Trojans, after a ground out to the infield, had the winning run at third base in the form of Jonathan Foster, but a strikeout to end the inning sent us to extras, and now Taylor finds himself down by 2 here in the 10th. 0-2 to Bass. He'll swing and miss, and there's 1 out for Taylor here in the 10th inning. Second time that Bass has struck out here today. And I'll bring up Wyatt Whitman with Taylor down 2 in the 10th. Taylor started the day a half game back of Indiana Wesleyan and Marion, who were tied for 3rd in the league standings, as they open up the 3-game series here this afternoon. Another good breaking ball here from Killian. Finds it for strike 1 to Whitman. Killian got a strikeout to start things off in the 9th, and then things started going in Taylor's favor. Whitman fouls off the second one. It's 0-2. Wyatt today 0 for 4 with a strikeout. But Taylor needs him on here, down 2 in the 10th. 0-2 from Killian. Fights it off on the handle, does Whitman. It's still 0-2. Taylor down 6-4. They've out-hit Indiana Wesleyan today 9-7, but no extra base hits for the Trojans so far. 0-2 curveball. They get Whitman to pop it up, but it'll ride the wind out of here and go foul. As another righty arm starts to get loose for Indiana Wesleyan in their bullpen. He's got a windbreaker on, so we can't see what number the right-hander is warming up down there, just in case he's needed. Killian already set as Whitman steps in and awaits another 0-2. He's fouled off the last 2 after falling behind. No balls and 2 strikes. That one a little nibbler to the right side. Bauman at second base will toss it over to first, as that one, the wind blew it a little bit, but not enough to make life tough for Bauman. And now Taylor down to their last out here in the bottom of the 10th, down 6-4. So it'll be Brett Lawson, the Trojan third baseman. Looking for comparisons, only 1 walk allowed by Iwu pitching today. Taylor has allowed 9. So it's the third baseman, Brett Lawson, who's reached base safely in 3 consecutive plate appearances. Backdoor breaking ball from Killian makes it 0-1. After striking out, is looking his first time up. Singleton scored in the 4th, walked in the 6th, then singled up the middle in the 8th. Brett down 0-1 here. And now down 0-2 with the Trojans down to their last strike here in the bottom of the 10th. Down 6-4 to cross-county foe Indiana Wesleyan. Killian into the windup. The pitch comes home. Curveball high and in that Brett leans out of the way from. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Josh Lane waits on deck. If Lawson can get on here. The 1-2 from Killian. That will scream out a play to the right, foul. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Taylor down 6-4 here in the bottom of the 10th. They tied the game at 4 in the 9th. A 2 RBI double after 2 walks, put 2 on in the 10th. 1-2 again to Lawson. Pops it up to the infield. Killian tracking it, and he makes the catch for out number 3. The Trojans fall today in 10 by a final of 6-4 to drop game 1 of our series here this afternoon. We'll come back and take a look back at this one on the Ivanhoe's postgame show when we come back here on the Trojan Sports Network.
The decision you're making is about so much more than where you'll spend the next 4 years. It's about how you'll live the next 40. So let me break down the Taylor University experience. We integrate faith and learning to become well-rounded, lifelong learners, while delivering a deeper knowledge of our specific areas of study. Whether you're producing award-winning films, building satellites for NASA, or preparing for a national ethics debate, Taylor will push you to excel in your field. But excellence isn't always about having the right answers. Sometimes it's about asking the right questions. Taylor is interdenominational. That means we can't always fall back on specific church doctrine to settle issues. We rely on scripture in the dynamic nature of iron sharpening iron to better know the God who's not afraid of our question. Much of this happens in the small town of Upland, Indiana, the place where Taylor does life together. But don't let this small town fool you. The schedule is packed with things to do, and through these activities, faculty, staff, and students become more than individuals occupying the same address. They become a community. But this community isn't limited to the campus. We travel, boy do we travel. We are ranked as one of the top 10 schools in the country for overseas experiences. But it isn't just about the going. It's about the sharing of those experiences and being challenged by those who come to Upland as their international experience. Taylor is one of a few Christian colleges that expects all students to have a relationship with Jesus Christ. Now, this doesn't mean Taylor is a Christian Disneyland, full of cardboard cutout perfection. Taylor is full of real people with real problems, and living together can get kind of messy. But in that mess, we take Jesus' call from John 13 seriously. We practice picking up our towel and dealing with the mess in each other's lives. We're not here just to follow the rules for 4 years. Instead, we hope to learn to live authentic lives, calling each other to lives of meaning. Every day, our focus remains on the 40, not just the 4. We'd love to show you more about Taylor. Come visit, sit in on a class, go to chapel, spend a night in a residence hall. Experience the difference for yourself.
Ivanhoe's has been serving Taylor students since 1965, when Ivan and Carol Slane purchased the restaurant. Located on Main Street, Ivanhoe's is less than a mile from the Taylor campus and is open 7 days a week. The menu features choices for lunch, dinner, as well as 100 different milkshakes and sundaes. Customers can find other dessert items as well. The staff is proud to support Taylor University and appreciates the support of Ivanhoe's through the years.
Join the Trojan Club today and support Taylor.
Back here at Winter Boulder Field, Rick Johnson now joined by the head coach of the Trojans, Kyle Gould, to look back at their 6-4 setback here in Game 1 of the weekend series. Walks again, another big storyline here for you guys. You obviously wanted to intentionally walk the guy there at the top of the 10th to bring the double play back into effect, but at the end of the day, 4 of the 6 runs got on via walks today. How frustrating is that to watch that in the dugout when you know you have such capable pitchers and the numbers are there to back it up?
Well, it's frustrating, and honestly, it's been frustrating all year. I think if you take walks and hit by pitch, we're almost dead even with the amount of hits we've gotten. So it's frustrating, the number of hits we've given up, and so it's just kind of our pitchers don't give up a lot of hits, but we give up a lot of free passes, and so it's been frustrating, yeah, but it's the way it's gone.
When you guys battled back there in the 9th, McGill had a great day going 3 for 4. He gets on there late in the 9th inning, down by 1. He comes around on the wild pitch, and when you guys saw your guys battle back like they did today in some pretty tough conditions with that wind blowing out towards right field all day. What was it like to watch them battle back there in the 9th?
Well, we misplayed a couple balls in the outfield, and that hurt too. In fairness to the pitchers, those two balls really hurt. The one should have been an out. It was a triple, and the other one extends what should have been a single, and so those two plays didn't help. It was good. Christian had a really good at bat, and then they make the mistake there on the bunt play, throw it into center field. We get to third, and had a chance to win the game right there, and couldn't cash in. But it's it's good. Guys played with good energy. I thought our bat, their starting pitcher's tough. He's as good as anybody in the league, and I thought to go 8 innings and only struck out 4 times. I thought we competed really well against him, and we just cashed it in a couple times, left a few other guys on base. But I thought, he just does a great job. He doesn't give up many extra base hits, so we were able to get some hits, but just couldn't get that big one we needed.
We'll let you go. We know you got to go talk with Iowa head coach Rich Benjamin to kind of put a plan together for tomorrow with weather impending. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Rick.
And it's head coach Kyle Gould joining us here on the Ivanhoe's post-game show. As we mentioned, Taylor's top batter today was Christian McGill. He went 3 for 4 with an RBI. His run scored tied the game at 4 in the 9th to send us to extras. For Indiana Wesleyan, they had one player get multiple today. That was Stephen Busby, went 2 for 3. His RBI double in the top of the 10th was the deciding factor. He drove in 3 runs all day, as Indiana Wesleyan wins today by a final of 6-4. Wildcats improved to 19-25 on the year. They are now 13-9 in the Crossroads League. The Trojans fall to 31-14. They're now 11-10 in Crossroads League play. Winning pitcher today was Tanner Killian. He went the last 2 innings, the 9th and the 10th, to pick up the win. That's his first win of the season. The starter, John Young, went 8 innings, allowed 8 hits, 3 runs, 4 strikeouts to 1 walk on 113 pitches thrown. Taking the loss today for the Trojans was Justin Pettit. Justin falls to 3-1 on the year. Weather coming in, and that's why we had to get Taylor head coach Kyle Gould out of here so quick. There is looks like an all-day rain coming in here tomorrow. So stay up to date to athletics.taylor.edu to figure out if we are playing baseball tomorrow at 2 o'clock or if it is postponed. We thank all you folks for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. This has been a presentation of Taylor Baseball here on the Trojan Sports Network. If we don't talk to you tomorrow, happy Easter. And if we don't talk to you tomorrow, we will talk to you on Monday when the Trojans wrap up their 3-game series here at home against Mount Vernon Nazarene, the team that's currently sitting in second place in the Crossroads League standings. This is, once again, our final score here from Winter Holder Field in 10. It's Indiana Wesleyan 6 and Taylor 4. This has been a presentation of Taylor Baseball here on the Trojan Sports Network. Good afternoon from Upland, Indiana.